Well, everybody's heard about the bird.
Oh, you're not sharing to us. That's why I couldn't hear it.
Hell of an intro.
Dobro večera, Mazo Ukraini, and welcome to NASA Bunker 33. I'm your host, Quitty's the Sprinkler, and with me, as always, is the producer that never fucks anything up ever and hopefully isn't muted, Zumi. How are you doing tonight?
I am not muted. And I am
Awesome!
good.
Because you never fuck anything up ever, so there you
Yeah,
go.
I never fuck
You
anything
guys are
up ever.
great.
We've got a good one for you tonight. We have Shane in the house. How are you doing, Shane?
Fantastic. Good to be with you guys here. You guys are having a great time. I can already tell I'm going to love this.
Yeah, it should be fun because I'm a dumbass debating a dumbass tonight, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, we've got a debate for you finally after what 3 weeks of being postponed because of various things.
Yeah.
I just bailed on one, forgot about it, and it was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to.
Yeah. So we finally got our ducks in a row, and we're doing this thing. So Zumi, I guess, is going to be the moderator. I'm going to hand it over to you and let you do your thing.
Wait. There's another way of doing that.
Oh, it's flat. I already won.
Yeah, I can stop.
Oh, okay. Well,
There.
roll credit.
There we go. Got that. Okay. And we're good to go. Yeah, there we go.
Neat.
So this is going to be pretty informal tonight. We're not really going to have that much of a structure, I guess. We can introduce ourselves a little bit, and then whichever of us goes first is fine. Present what you want to present, and then we'll have a little back and forth about it. I guess if we want, after I present mine, you can take a few minutes to refute it, and then we can have a back and forth, or we can go straight into a back and forth. Whatever.
Show me what you got, and I'll refute it.
Okay. Well, let's introduce ourselves. Since you're the guest, I'll let you go first. Just introduce us. Tell us what you're all about.
I'm a truther channel who got dumped into flat Earth debates inadvertently, and now it's all I do. Here we go.
Sweet. So for anyone who doesn't know where to find you, tell everyone where they can find you.
So anti-disinformation is the channel name, but YouTube doesn't like me. I'm on 27 channels now, so I wouldn't bother going there. BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, anti-disinformation. You'll find me if you care to.
The link is in the description.
Awesome.
Sir. Linktree also banned me, so that one may or may not be valid when you get to it.
Awesome. Well, I know you brought a couple of your people with you, and they probably don't know who I am, so I'll introduce myself as well. I'm Quiddies the Sprinkler.
Helioid's on your team, by the way. He came here just to root against me.
Oh, nice. What's up, Helioid? I'm Quiddies the Sprinkler. I'm a dumbass that, knows practically nothing about anything, but a few years ago, I heard that there were people that thought the Earth was flat, and I thought, that's weird. So I looked it up, and sure as shit, there are people that think the Earth is flat. So I thought, all right, well, I'll watch one of these videos and see what this is all about. I'm sure I can debunk this in 5 minutes. So I watched the video, and I guess I'm not enough of a dumbass because I debunked it immediately. So I'm not a flat earther. So that's where I
must have looked on YouTube, huh? That must have happened.
I don't know. That's just a story I made up because I thought it was funny. So
that sounded real to me.
All right. So let's see. We'll go ahead. I'll present first.
Show me some globe cartoons.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll share my screen and go into this and go to slideshow. And can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, we're not going to let the big mess, are we? Oh, no.
All right. Here we go. Dude. So inertial navigation and reference systems. What can they tell us about the shape of the Earth? Now, I'm a huge fan of military aviation. I've always had a passion for aviation. Ever since I was a kid, there was this guy in my hometown named Lindsey Hess, I believe was his name. He was a stunt pilot. He flew a stunt biplane. And about once a month, he would practice his tricks right over my house. And so as a kid, Saturday afternoons, once a month, we would just go sit in the backyard and watch a stunt pilot in a biplane do crazy tricks, barrel rolls and stalls and flips. That was so awesome for me. And I'm the son of a retired Air Force officer who fought in Vietnam and the Cold War. He worked on F-105 Thunder Chiefs and he worked on B-52 bombers. He was a nuclear weapons officer, which meant he had top secret security clearance. And he was one of the guys with part of the code to blow the world up if it ever came to that. And all that really interested me. And I got to wondering one day, how in the hell do planes find their way around? So I got to looking into inertial navigation and inertial reference systems. And basically, well, first I want to tell you the picture on the left is actually out of the V2 rocket, the German World War II rocket. So that's something that Werner von Braun built. And that's the inertial navigation system out of a V2 rocket. The picture on the right is a gyrocompass. We'll talk about that later. So gyroscopes are these really cool things that when you spin them up, because of the laws of physics, they will actually hold their position in three-dimensional space. So let's say you have a gyroscope and you have 3 axes of rotation right here. You can put a potentiometer on those axes of rotation. And as the gyroscope spins, it will drift if you're moving because it holds its place in 3D space. So if you move, it will start drifting and you can read that drift with a potentiometer. So what you can do here is you can actually, sorry, I got sidetracked. Okay, what you can do here, you can actually set it up, put potentiometers on the 3 axes, and start it spinning, and just leave it sitting there spinning, and read the drift on those 3 axes, and read the spin of the Earth.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Even though that was that was not a mechanical gyroscope.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
from Earth.
So gyroscopes are used in planes, and when I was a kid, I saw this softcore gay porn movie called Top Gun, and from that moment on, I wanted to be a military aircraft pilot. Not because the gay porn part, but because the flying part. All the flying stuff was really cool.
I just watched the sequel, by the way, not to interrupt. It
I
wasn't bad.
haven't seen the sequel. Do not ruin it for me. I do want to see it. I hear that it's not a softcore gay porn like the first one was.
I didn't get that from the first one, but hey, I
Yeah,
don't know.
so it should be a lot better. So anyway, I have loved the F-14 since the first time I saw this movie. And in 2012, I took this picture of an F-14 that I ran into in Charleston, South Carolina. This is on the USS Enterprise during Hurricane Sandy. That's actually Hurricane Sandy going overhead. And this plane is absolutely gigantic. You cannot imagine how big it actually is in real life. But those air intakes on the side, I could climb into and sit there with my legs crossed comfortably. It's huge. In fact, the pilots that flew it said it's actually like flying a tennis court. Because when its wings are fully spread, this plane is the size of a tennis court. And there's a guy on top. Just to show you, this is a big fucking plane. The engines are 9 feet apart. But that was my first love right there. And my second love and third love are right here. That's an F-105 Thunder Chief and my ex-wife. to show you how big an F-105 Thunder Chief is. She's 5'8". So that's a big plane. And I love this plane.
Wait.
Go ahead.
We need a banana for scale.
And we'll find one somewhere. I love this plane because my dad broke the sound barrier in an F-105 Thunder Chief flying over the Mediterranean Sea one time. So I have a little bit of a personal connection to it. And inside the Thunder Chief is the cockpit. And for anyone who's not familiar with planes, your head is probably so full of fuck right now just looking at all these instruments. But I want you to pay attention to two things. That's the two round things in the top center. One of them is a gyro compass, and one of them is an artificial horizon. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the artificial horizon. I'm zoomed in on it right here. Now, the artificial horizon uses a gyroscope. And you can see this one's not spinning. So the artificial horizon, according to the artificial horizon here, the nose of this plane is pointed straight at the ground and the wings are leaning at about a 45-degree angle to the left. But when I zoom back out, this plane seems to be sitting on the ground level. So, because the gyroscope is not spinning, this doesn't work. And the way it works, I forgot I put this one in. This is just to show you the gyroscope behind the artificial horizon. So it's not just that front piece right there, but it's this whole big unit. So the way it works, this picture on the right here, you have a gyroscope with 3 axes. You've got the X, Y, and Z axis. You've got gimbals on each. And basically, once you start the gyroscope spinning, it will hold its position in 3D space. So the way I say to imagine it is the gyroscope stays stationary and the plane moves around it. So that if you tilt the nose up, the gyroscope stays still and the artificial horizon shows that you're pointing the nose up. Or if you roll to the right, the gyroscope stays still and the artificial horizon shows that you're rolling to the right. But again, a gyroscope holding itself or holding its position in 3D space with the Earth rotating means that eventually it will be off. So if you spin it up and it sits there for 1 hour, it will show 15 degrees off. Or, because the Earth is a globe, if you fly 60 nautical miles, then it will show that the nose of the plane is pointed up by 1 degree. You fly another 60 nautical miles, it'll show that the nose is pointed up by 2 degrees. So how do we fix that? Well, the picture on the left, at the bottom you can see it says pendulous unit and vanes. And what this is actually a type of Schuler tuning. We'll get into Schuler tuning more later, but the pendulous unit, basically, what it does is, as the gyroscope spins, this image on the left here shows that it's sitting at 0, 0, 0 on the 3 axes. Air comes out the vane. Oh, let me go back. I forgot one thing. So this unit is called a vacuum unit, which is not technically a vacuum. It blows air through, and you can see on the gyroscope wheel, there are these little divots. So the air blows through the divots and spins the gyro. And then the exhaust air goes down and comes out the pendulous vanes. And as long as the gyroscope is at 0, 0, 0 on the X, Y, and Z axes, air will come out of all 4 vanes evenly. But as it drifts to the side from the Earth's rotation or from the Earth's curvature, it will blow more out of one of the vanes or 2 of the vanes, depending on how it's drifting, which causes a force in the opposite direction, which then corrects it back to 0, 0, 0 in all 3 axes. So let me check here. Yeah. So every artificial horizon on every aircraft ever is going to have one of these units. If the Earth were flat, then you would not need the pendulous unit on the artificial horizon. So, how can we find out if what I just said is true? Well, we could go on eBay and we could buy an artificial horizon. Here's one taken out of a Cessna for $175 with $12.45 shipping. So for under $200, we could have our own artificial horizon and we could take it apart and we could see if there are pendulous veins in it. And then we could try an experiment. We could maybe take the pendulous system out of it and then go up, just buy a commercial flight to anywhere. Take it up on a commercial flight, hook it up to a battery pack, and let it run and see if the artificial horizon processes during the flight. Or you could put it in your car, or you could just turn it on and set it on a table in your house and see if it processes over an hour by 15 degrees. So this is something that anyone can test. For under $200, you can see for yourself whether or not the Earth is a globe or it's flat, whether or not the Earth is spinning or stationary. So I've been talking for a while. I still have a lot to talk about on this topic, but I'm going to turn it over to Shane. Shane, let's go.
Oh no, man! I'm learning more about gyroscopes than I've ever known. Please continue.
Okay. Well, like I said before we started the show, I'll find something that fascinates me, and of course, I'm fascinated by military aircraft. So I'll find something that fascinates me, and then I'll just sit there and learn about it for a long time. So over the last couple of weeks, I've just been learning about how these systems work. Now, this is not the only system in an aircraft that runs off a gyroscope. Let me go back here to right here. Can you guys see my cursor? I know it'll probably be small, but there are several units here that run off of gyroscopes. Of course, you've got the artificial horizon right above it. You've got the gyro compass, which in a plane is actually called a heading indicator, but that's what it is. It's just a gyro compass. You've also got your drift angle right here, and that also runs off of a gyroscope. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I know of in this cockpit. No.
Cockpit.
But these older aircraft, I'll go ahead and talk about this. These older aircraft, as you can see, everything's analog. You can take these units out, plug them into a battery, and use them yourself. However, once we get up to here, now this is an F-16 cockpit. The F-16, this is what I wanted to fly. Back in 2001, something happened in our country that most everyone knows what happened. And a few days after that, I went to the recruitment office and I said, hey, put me in an F-16 cockpit so I can go kill who's responsible. And they told me, hey, you need to pass an eye test. And I said, uh-oh. And that's the story of how I did not become an F-16 pilot. But as you can see here, the center instrument panel here, again, we have the artificial horizon, we have the gyro compass, and over here we have a vertical speed indicator, which is also a gyroscope. And then up here at the top, we have another artificial horizon. A lot of aircraft have backup systems. And the reason I brought up the F-16 is because this was a fourth generation aircraft where they started moving away from these mechanical gyroscopes. So the F-16 also has ring laser gyroscopes that do the same thing as a mechanical gyroscope, but they don't have drift in them. And see, a mechanical gyroscope, there's no such thing as a frictionless object. So no matter how well you make a gyroscope, you will always have friction. Therefore, it will never be a perfect measuring device. You'll always have a tiny margin of error because of that friction. But when you get to a ring laser gyroscope or a fiber optic gyroscope, then you don't have friction anymore. The only limitation is the speed of light. So they're even more accurate. Now, of course, mechanical gyroscopes are very accurate. They were used, up until the 1980s at least in aircraft. But ring laser gyroscopes are more maintainable because there's no moving parts. So the ring laser gyro up here at the very top, that's the HUD, the heads up display. Uh, it will feed information to the HUD in this aircraft, and you have the two MFDs, the multifunction displays on the sides here, that will also receive information from them. But then once we get up to the Generation 5 aircraft, this is now this is a CGI image because the cockpit of an F-35 is classified, so we can't really get pictures of all the systems. So this is what people are pretty sure it looks like, or people that have seen it have talked about. Okay, this is what it looks like. But as you can see here, right down here, is the artificial level or artificial horizon. But this one is actually not a mechanical. This is a screen that's connected to the ring laser gyro in the plane. Uh, most planes have 3 systems of ring laser gyros. They're called inertial navigation systems. Hey, look at that. We just circled back to the title of the presentation. And this is one of those systems. Here on the right, it shows you have 3 gyroscopes in all 3 axes, the X axis, Y axis, and Z axis. And then on the left, it shows what the unit looks like when it goes into the plane. As you can see, it's sealed in a steel box. And these things are put as close to the center of gravity of the airplane that you can get them. So they will be placed normally towards the bottom of the aircraft between the wings somewhere, depending on the center of gravity. So they're encased inside a steel box, inside the airplane. There's no way they can measure anything from the outside. But when you start them up, they register a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift. Thanks,
Bob.
This is from a cockpit of an A320, an Airbus A320, and it shows right here you have 3 navigation systems. Those are the 3 units that I just showed. And the reason they have them is, like I said earlier, aircraft are built with a lot of redundancies. So if one of these goes bad, you still have 2 to run all of your instruments. Boeing found out what happens when you don't build in redundancies when they released the 737 MAX, and 2 of them within like just a month or so just decided to point their nose straight at the ground and fly as fast as they could. And it's because they had this system, this computer program in their system that ran off of one angle of attack indicator. Basically, this little vane on the side of the plane that works like a weather vane. And the angle that the air blows by it is the angle of attack. So if your plane is pitched nose up, it'll show, the angle of the wind. The nose would be pitched up. Well, twice that one angle of attack indicator failed. And because this computer program ran off only that piece of equipment, when it failed, the computer was like, oh shit, the plane's not pointed the way I want it to point. And so it just pointed the nose at the ground and flew straight into it. And that's the story of how Boeing learned, 5 or 6 years ago, that they need to build in more redundancies in their equipment. So, do you want to stop and talk about it? Just stop me when you want to talk about something, Shane. Because
I can't refute the way the gyroscope works, man. You're doing a much better job explaining how it works than I've ever seen.
Okay.
Right? So go right ahead, man.
Okay, so this is how a ring laser gyroscope works. And, you know, I talked about the mechanical gyroscope, but ring laser gyroscopes, well, mechanical gyroscopes actually work off of Coriolis. But ring laser gyroscopes work off of interferometry. I can't say the damn word. Interferometry, I think is how you say it. Basically, what happens, and let me hit play. Okay. So basically, what happens? This laser fires a beam of light, and it hits the splitter, and the two beams split off, traveling. Since it's the same beam, it just gets split. They're traveling the same speed at the same time. So as long as the gyroscope is not moving at all, then the two beams, one will go around this way, the other will go around this way. They'll hit the beam splitter and go into the detector. So what we see here is they go around, they recombine and go into the detector. And you'll see here that the detector is just measuring no interference. There's no interference pattern. It just gets a white light. However, if you start spinning it or moving it in any way, this just shows it spinning. But as it's spinning, the beam of light that's traveling with the spin has further to travel than the beam of light that's traveling against the spin. Because let's say when the laser fires, it was down here at 6 o'clock. And when the two lasers get back, it's at 9 o'clock. So the beam that's having to go from 6 o'clock counterclockwise around has to travel 15 hours. But the beam of light that goes from 6 o'clock around clockwise only has to travel 9 hours. You see what I'm saying here? I just want to make sure that I'm explaining this clear enough.
I mean, the most I knew about it was Bob proved that the Earth was spinning.
Yeah.
That's all anyone told me about it.
Okay, so this is how it works. But do you understand that? Do you understand what I'm talking about there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So as it spins, you'll see that the red beam ends up getting back just a little bit before the green beam. And eventually it'll zoom down and show you in the detector that there's an interference pattern. Come on. There it is. So now it gets an interference pattern. And because we know how light works, we know that based on the interference pattern, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Stop, go back over here, go back to the slideshow. Okay. So because we know how light works, we can measure what type of interference pattern that is. And we can measure exactly to the, 0.00000, like 20 more zeros of a second difference in these patterns. And we can convert that into what motion the gyroscope is experiencing to create this pattern. And so that's how these guys work, basically. So they have three. So you've got one on the x-axis, one on the y-axis, one on the z-axis. And each one will measure no interference pattern if it's not moving, or an interference pattern if it is moving. And of course, that's exactly what Bob did when he turned his on. He measured an interference pattern in all three axes that, when added up, was 15.04 degrees per hour, which is how much the Earth spins per hour in a sidereal day. Do I have anything else here? Oh yeah, I do have one more video just to show you, and this is Wolfie. I want to make sure. Okay, unmute because I want you to hear this. This is Wolfie 6020, who is an actual commercial airline pilot and a master flat Earth debunker. And this is actually a gyroscope using accelerometers, which is a whole different topic. We'll just stick to ring laser and mechanical gyros for this. I won't get into accelerometers because then we're talking about gravity. But I just wanted to show this to show what like how you can interpret the movement into electronic signals and show what's happening. So this is only about a minute.
And what I'll be using for this demonstration is a drone flight controller that contains a 3-axis gyroscope and is typically used in aerobatic and racing style drones like that.
Who's your first
I
fate?
also
Doing good.
use this hexacopter and on this red V-tail drone. And then you can see the flight controller is located right on the center of gravity. And that way, when the drone is maneuvering, all rotation is about the flight controller. And these flight controllers are fitted with a USB port that allows you to connect them to a PC and configure various parameters with software like this, Betaflight. When I connect, you can see a number of options there, but specifically we have a visual representation of the attitude of the flight controller. It shows pitch, roll, and yaw. We also have numerical values here and a visual indication with aircraft style instruments showing the attitude of the flight controller.
And the two aircraft style instruments there at the very end were the artificial horizon and the heading indicator, or the gyro compass. And that's all I've got for you on gyroscopes right now.
Holy hell, man. Thanks for the education.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing, but we can discuss. Do you have any questions about anything, or
Well, yeah. How did all those equipment show the Earth's a globe again?
by conservation of momentum. So because the gyroscope, we'll just talk about the mechanical gyroscope right now. Because the mechanical gyroscope is spinning, it will hold, through conservation of momentum, it will hold its position in 3D space. So the way you can think about it is, once you get it up to speed, then it is not spinning on the Earth. It's sitting in its own frame of reference. So as the Earth spins, the gyroscope will actually tilt to the side, because the ground of, and I may be saying this wrong, but the ground is actually moving below it. So as the angle of the ground moves, as it spins around the Earth, the gyroscope tilts itself to compensate for that.
Told you that, man. The Earth spins below the plane. Did the toilet spins backwards in the equator too? Is that what we're gonna go?
I mean, it could, but the amount of Coriolis force inside of a toilet compared to other forces,
It's still equal to zero.
no, it's not equal to zero.
It is zero.
It's incredibly small, but it's not equal to zero. It's so small that if you're trying to calculate the forces inside of a toilet bowl, you can consider it zero, and your margin of error will still be small enough you could work out which way the water will spin in the toilet bowl.
Right. They stopped using that as an example because people figured out the shape of the bowl determined the motion of the water more than the spinning of the supposed Earth.
Well,
But
not just the shape of the bowl, but
the texture of the water.
how the water jets are shaped, the angle that they shoot the water into the bowl. All of that has a lot more force than the Coriolis force
Gotcha.
that's experienced by the water in the bowl.
So while the plane's in the air using the fancy gyroscope, maintaining level to the supposed spinning Earth, how is it dipping down to compensate for the curvature of the Earth, right? So it has to tilt down 2,700 feet every minute for a sphere 25,000 miles in circumference with a radius of 3959 miles. Is it doing that? Does that help it do that? Or?
Okay, so no, it doesn't, because that's not how a plane works. How a plane works is it has four forces. It has thrust and drag. It has lift and weight. So thrust is forward, drag is backwards, lift is up, weight is down. So what you're going to do in a plane is you balance those forces. So let's say I want to fly at 20,000 feet at 350 knots. So I get my plane to 300 or to 20,000 feet and 350 knots. And then I just set the angle of attack of my plane and the thrust to maintain that. And then because the pressure at that altitude is the same, whether it's 20,000 feet above one point of the globe or 20,000 feet above a different point of the globe, the plane is going to sit at that 20,000 feet regardless of the curvature of the Earth.
For every 500 miles it travels, it'd have to dip down the corresponding 167,000 feet to keep level with or it shoots off the side of the ball. You know what I mean?
Well,
Unless it's maintaining the.
How would it shoot off the side of the ball? If it starts increasing in altitude, then it's going to lose speed.
My point
Okay,
is,
And
it
then it
doesn't.
will stall and fall out of the sky.
can I say something real quick?
No, I'm kidding. It's your show, guys. Go ahead.
It stays at a particular altitude. It stays at the same altitude regardless of where it is. Therefore, it doesn't need to dip because it's maintaining that altitude.
Right,
not-
maintaining
it's not-
altitude is over a flat plane, though. If it's a curved ball, you have to constantly dip to maintain altitude because curve is level, right?
No.
No.
You're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding completely.
I think you're misunderstanding.
Because
but
that because over a ball, if it's maintaining altitude, then 20,000 feet is going to be 20,000 feet regardless of the point of the ball it's over.
Yeah.
So the way you can think about it is that the plane is the top of a pendulum and the center of the Earth is the bottom of the pendulum. So that regardless of how the plane is, or regardless of where the plane is over the top, over the Earth, it's going to maintain that line to the bottom of the pendulum below it, perpendicular to it. So if it's 20,000 feet and it flies, we'll say, we'll say 120 nautical miles. That's 2 degrees of curvature. So over 120 nautical miles, then the plane will have curved 2 degrees, but it will still be at the same altitude.
Yeah. Think of it like this. Attach, like, say, a ball to another smaller ball, a bigger ball. It will stay at that altitude no matter where around that ball it goes. It never has to dip because it stays at that altitude.
Yeah,
You're
it's
talking
going
about
to
a level
maintain.
plane. That's
It's
only
going to
when it's over level.
maintain that same distance, no matter how far around the globe it flies. It'll
Yeah.
maintain that same distance from the center of the Earth.
Exactly.
How is
So-
it determining the center of the Earth and maintaining its perpendicular
gyroscope.
motion to the center?
Through,
But that's
through,
only a level. That's detached from the Earth, so it's not actually. It's completely level by itself.
through,
Meaning you're up
through the
here,
four
right?
forces that are at play on the plane. It's maintaining it through thrust and through
Okay.
drag and
Yeah.
through
You guys-
lift and
Do you
through
guys know how
weight.
circumnavigation works on a flat Earth? It's going to be relevant, right? So if it's a circle,
Yeah,
right? Left
if
and
you're
right
going
is a circle.
counterclockwise,
East,
you have to keep turning left the whole time. If you're going
correct. Now put
clockwise,
that
you
on
have to keep
sphere, make it
turning
3D, and you have to do the same thing. No? Why do you think it
right.
doesn't apply now?
No, that's not how navigation on the globe works at all.
Because no plane has to dip because the Earth's not curved.
No plane has to dip because that's not how planes work.
Oh.
Sure.
Hey, planes have what's called an altimeter. It maintains
Yeah.
a steady altitude. That means it does a course correction itself. Basically, it stays with the altitude of the Earth. It stays a particular distance away from the surface of the Earth.
Yeah.
That means
So-
it doesn't
so one-
need to dip.
Once you get up to that altitude, to the 20,000 feet, most of the time, pretty much every aircraft that you have now is going to have an autopilot.
Yeah.
So you set your autopilot for 20,000 feet. You set your autopilot for 350 knots, or 0.81 Mach, or whatever you want to use there. You set that, and then the computer, the plane, is going to make thousands of tiny corrections per second to keep you flying at 20,000 feet above the surface of the Earth at 350 knots. That's it.
Okay. Let's see. There's a Dutch pilot talking about her gyroscope over here and how it's supposed to do exactly what you guys are describing. You want to take a look?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I? Am I sharing? Is it sharing? You have to let me share. Is that what it is?
No, you
You
can
should
share.
be able to.
Yeah, you
Oh,
should be able to
You
share.
just got to click the start stop sharing.
Go to the bottom. It's the third icon from the left.
No, I got it. I'm looking at it, and I hit share.
And then a little window will
And-
open,
Yeah, I don't see
and
that.
it'll say entire screen window or Chrome
did-
tab.
I did
make
that
sure you
too.
click share system audio, and then you have to click the window that you want to share,
Yeah.
Whoop. I got
and
it.
then you can click share. Share will turn blue once you click the window you want to share.
Okay. Share again. Share right screen. Share, and I hit go, and nothing happens.
Weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I don't
Click
have any-
start stop sharing. Click the
Okay.
screen you want to share. Click
Nailed
share
it.
system audio,
Yep.
and there it says share turns blue.
No, so it's still red. What does that mean?
I've never seen it red.
Yeah. I don't have any
Do
special
you want to
permission.
maybe drop out of the call and come back and
Oh,
try
there
it?
we go. So
Oh,
there's
there we go.
something,
Okay.
right? All
There we
right.
go.
No sound, but
Yeah.
it's cool. So here we go.
Okay.
It's subtitled anyway. So I mean, she's describing what you guys were describing to me, right? I was maintaining over a curve with the gyroscope, maintaining level for the upper half, and she's doing transcontinental flight. So from one side of the Earth to the other, supposedly passing the equator. So far, so good.
Okay.
Let's see. So maintaining its initial orientation in space. When she reaches Australia, it's still the same orientation. Everyone good?
Not quite.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm a little lost. She's saying that the gyroscope stays in the same orientation as when it starts.
Yep. She's expecting it to flip over as it passes the equator, right? Which is
Okay, well that's where she's wrong right there.
right. I'm with you.
Because the gyroscope has pendulous vanes on it to keep it from deviating from what is the 0, 0, 0 on the X, Y, and Z axis. She's expecting the gyroscope to hold its 0, 0, 0 in the X, Y, and Z axis in one place, and then the plane flies and it maintains that. That's not how the gyroscope works.
So it's maintaining level all the way, right? And level on the southern half of the globe would be the same level as the top half of the globe, regardless of the equator, right?
I'm not
Right,
sure
so
I follow.
It's flying over a ball, and the gyroscope
Yeah.
is still seeing this is level, this is level, this is level, and on the bottom, this is level still, right?
Yeah, well, okay. So Let's go back to the pendulous veins. They create what's the word I'm looking for?
I keep thinking pendulous ball, so we need some different descriptions.
I can't think of the right. Well, they create a force that holds the gyroscope in 0, 0, 0 on the 3 axes in relation to the plane itself, the airplane itself, not its starting point in space. So that's why, like I said, you can buy one of these artificial levels. You can take the pendulous veins off, and then you can move around with it. And this is exactly what you would expect to happen, is what she's talking about right here. As you move, the gyroscope will hold its rigidity in that one spot and start drifting to the side as you move. But the pendulous veins are there to keep it from doing that, so that it always maintains the rigidity in 0, 0, 0 XYZ axis for the plane itself, instead
You are a
of
gyro
in
expert,
relation
man.
to the Earth.
What's a 60-degree turn? Is that like a U-turn or like a half of? No, it's not a right angle turn. It's like a what?
60 degrees.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's doing a 60-degree turn. And I don't know.
Well,
Right, she says, I'm making a 60-degree turn.
I really don't know, because
Okay.
I haven't seen this video. I haven't been really paying attention to what she's talking about, but I do see
she's talking about pendulous veins.
Yeah.
She says so it's holding pattern, and she's turning a 60-degree turn and expecting the gyro to compensate to the inertial gravity, and she's saying that it doesn't at all.
Okay. So she should be showing us then.
Right. I mean, she's not.
She should be
anything.
in a
She's
plane
recounting
showing.
her personal. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So all she's doing is just saying things right now.
100%.
She's not demonstrating that this is what would happen or what did happen. She's just saying shit.
She's recounting her personal piloting
And
experience.
why is she the only pilot that has ever had this happen? And
she's not.
Did she have a malfunction? Did she lose power to her artificial horizon? There's really no information as to what actually happened, so I can't tell you anything about that.
100%. But there's other stories of the same. So there's let's see, Mark.
It's this guy, this dumbass. Yeah.
No, I'm not using him. He's just my buddy. I like to have him up at all times.
Yeah. God damn, he's stupid.
Really? Flat Earth philosophy guy?
I have fucking laughed at. I'm a dumbass, and this guy is stupider than me.
Why do you think that?
Let me give you
because
a quick side note.
Everything he says, I can debunk.
Oh, that's the booby suit. That's the booby suit. Yeah.
The what?
Yeah. Yeah, Simon Dan loves this guy. I've seen him laugh at this guy a few times.
Come on, man. That guy's a super tard.
Hey, let me give you a very simplified explanation.
Sure, man.
Basic laws of gravity mean that objects moving straight relative to the ground are in fact moving perpendicular to gravitation Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, they're pulled continually downward. An airplane, bird, frisbee, anything flying will fall towards the Earth, and their straight path is actually circular around the planet. Same reason man-made satellites over our heads orbit in circles with ongoing propulsion. Right? They don't simply fly off in a straight line away from Aurora.
Okay.
By Aurora.
So here's this
good explanation. I mean, not completely.
So here's a story of a similar pilot who said that the gyro was actually broken. The inertial compensator was broken the whole flight. All right. And again, this is a third
So
party hearsay.
okay, so if it's broken, how does that prove anything?
Well, it didn't do anything. It didn't, whatever it was needed for in the plane, they managed to do it without any help from the gyro. And then when they
Okay,
called the company,
so how does that prove anything?
just another personal account corroborating the first personal account from the pilot. You said it was only by herself talking about it, right?
Well,
So
we
there's
don't
two.
know if her gyroscope was broken or what. And literally all you're presenting to me is gyroscopes that don't function to refute gyroscopes functioning.
Well, I mean, these are pilots, and you're someone who knows
I've
about
got a
gyroscopes,
car.
to be fair, right?
I've got a car that doesn't run. Does that mean that every car in the world doesn't run?
Fair enough, dude. So this is a really old gyroscope how-to, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Really
this
old.
is this is just a 3-axis mechanical gyroscope. Yeah,
So not the tri-laser or the super one we were looking at,
right.
but
Just a mechanical
principle.
gyroscope. Yeah.
Mhm. So is this correct? The statement here must be continuously adjusted because of the apparent drift, the 15 degree per hour rotation you guys keep measuring,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I feel like I'm in nuclear times, getting ready to hide on the desk.
I love how they call it an erection system. That just cracks me up.
What would you call it?
A pendulous unit, or I mean, technically,
Erection system?
yes.
You're right, that's pretty
Technically,
bad.
yes. An erection unit is the correct term, but all I think about is you're turned that gyro on a little bit.
I keep thinking about pendulous balls when you go the other way, so I think it's both flawed. Maybe that's my Family Guy.
Either one. I my mind also goes.
Right, so this is how.
And I think that one of those pictures in my presentation actually called it an erection unit.
They're both kind of bad.
Yeah, the one where I was showing how the pendulous vanes work, figure 10101, the erecting mechanism of a vacuum-driven attitude indicator.
Pendulous veins. It reminds me of Amazing Atheists Amazing Atheists would keep on using pendulous veins as a.
You know what I bet you're not going to show? I bet that you're not going to show anyone actually demonstrating a gyroscope doing the opposite of what I said it does.
100%. But you didn't show that it does what you say it does. You just said what it does, right?
Right. I mean, we could sit here for an hour and watch a gyroscope process, but it's pretty boring.
Right.
But,
I mean, I can't refute the function of a gyroscope.
This is how science works. I don't have to do it myself to know that it works. I can do it myself. But I trust people that are way smarter than me.
Yeah,
and I can smell bullshit from a mile away. So if I thought that there was a problem with gyroscopes, then I think I showed you I could spend less than $200 on eBay and buy myself one and test it for myself. And
I could buy a laser pointer and say it proves flat Earth if you point it across a lake, and that would give us.
And that would be a really stupid thing to say.
But if we're both just listing manufacturer specs for tools that perform functions, no one's really proving anything. You know what I'm saying?
Where in the manufacturer specs does it say proves the flat Earth on a laser pointer?
I mean,
can you point that out to me?
How about the test where they measure no curvature across large bodies of water using a simple laser pointer? Right? We can say that's a thing.
How do they? Show me the measurements, please.
Citation needed.
Show me the actual measurements, the margin of error. Show the actual numbers and everything of what they did, what they accounted for, what they didn't account for.
Yeah,
because literally all you're doing is you're pointing a laser over some water and going, it's flat.
But all you're saying
That's
is looking how the gyroscope shows the Earth.
Without understanding any of the other conflating variables that are happening to the laser, you're just saying it's flat. That's it.
I'm trying to figure out how you think a gyroscope proves the Earth is spinning from the box, right? Without even using it, its application, the personal accounts, corroboration of aggregation of data.
I do have a little gyroscope
Mm-hmm.
that I can sit here and spin.
I also have a
but
globe. It
it-
doesn't mean
it's
Earth's a globe.
but I don't have a way to make it spin for hours at a time. So I could go buy one, but I'm not the one sitting here trying to refute how they work. That's
I
your
can't
job.
refute the way a gyro works, man. You're the absolute expert on that, right?
No, I am not. I
Well,
am not an
between the two
expert
of
on
us.
gyroscopes.
Between the two of us, sir.
I am not an expert on anything except masturbation, and I'm really not that good at that either.
It's the funniest thing I've heard all night, dude. Thank you. All right. How about, let's see, how can I refute how the way a gyroscope works? How about that planes don't use them to maintain level to the spherical surface because they would have to do this dip of elevation for every 500 miles. They'd have to dip this much per flight, right? 31 miles of dip. They'd have to adjust, even though you say it doesn't have to stay on the edge of the, to stay parallel
Sure,
to the circumference
because
of
that's
the outer
not how
ball.
planes work.
But it is how.
I mean, you're using the greatest quote miner in history of quote mining right here, fucking Quantum Eraser.
His flight
So let
has
okay,
some nice
okay,
math.
okay. I'll tell you what. Let's find what he's quoting right here. Show me the link to exactly what he's quoting.
I don't know what he's quoting, man. I assume that he made this shit up.
Exactly.
Right, but the math
Exactly.
works out. He's curvature over a certain
quoting
rotation,
shit
right?
without showing you where it comes
he's
from.
using the radius of the
Because
Earth.
if you actually go and read it, it doesn't say what he's trying to tell you it says.
Well, this is the radius of the Earth, and we have the distance of a flight with the average speed and the average cruising altitude, right? So these are all things that you just referenced, and this is right about the ballpark.
Sure.
So we're talking about, radius of the Earth, say Pittsburgh to PA, right? This is 500 miles, maintaining a time of 1 hour. About, what's the cruising altitude? Let's see. All right. 100 had to go down 167,000 feet over the course of 1 hour to maintain level for this 500-mile journey. That's insane. No plane does that. It would have to maintain the gyroscopic.
But you're talking about maintaining level in that one tangential plane. You're not talking about maintaining level over a surface.
We are, though. Everything you described is maintaining level over
everything that
plane.
he's saying right here in this bullshit that he printed up is saying that it has to drop from this one tangential plane on the globe. But that's not what it's doing. It's flying over a curved surface, so it's maintaining its altitude relative to that surface.
You guys see this, right? So this is a ball. It's a good picture of a ball, right? So first of all, you mentioned on the gyroscope your horizon and your, what was it, projected, or what fake word for the fake horizon? What was it? Assumed horizon?
Oh, you're talking about
artificial horizon.
You're talking about the apparent horizon?
Sure. I mean, I don't know how many fake horizons you guys have, but whichever one is called for in this situation, right? This is from the basic celestial navigation, but again, celestial horizon, artificial horizon, the projected. What is it called?
Okay, who is this from?
This is one of my live streams using Mitchell from Australia's sextant.
Okay, how many times has Mitchell ever found anything using a sextant?
I have no idea who Mitchell is. All I found was this video.
0.
And I like the pictures, man.
Mitchell does not know how to use a sextant.
Sure,
and Mitchell has never used a sextant. Mitchell is scared shitless to even talk to people about how to use a sextant because Mitchell knows that he does not know how to use a sextant. But to other people that know nothing about sextants, Mitchell sounds smart. Like you don't know anything about sextants. Therefore, to you, Mitchell sounds smart. But to anyone that can smell bullshit, They know that Mitchell is full of shit.
Wait,
When
wasn't
we use a
Mitchell one who tried to?
No, that was some other one. But Mitchell, this
No.
was Craig's refutation to Mitchell. But so I know how to use the sextant on the flat Earth. The horizon measures your plane of elevation, and you guys do the horizon, the fake horizon, the refracted horizon, the black swan pushed horizon, and whatever fake horizon you want to use to get a tangent.
Well, which one are we using then?
I don't know. You guys have a new fake one every time there's a new black
you
swan.
don't know how we do it. So
Well,
how are you refuting it if you don't even know how we do
It
it?
doesn't matter which fake horizon you use. You're still trying to get
Yes,
a
it
tangent
does,
line
because
to
you
a
don't
refracted
know.
horizon.
You don't know how we're doing it to start with.
You can pick any fake horizon. It's not the real horizon because you can only use that on a flat plane. That's why you have to refract your horizon via the black swan. Oh no, the whole horizon is refracted, which means you can't get a
Sure
tangent
it is.
line.
Everything's refracted.
Sure it is. Everything is refracted.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
My dick is 1.5 feet from my face right now, and it's refracted to me.
The reason we say everything is refracted
Because we're in an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Therefore, everything is refracted. It may be so close that it's almost right.
Oh.
I mean, I can reach over. I've got a glass sitting next to me with some juice in it. I can reach over and grab that because there's not that much refraction between my face and that cup that I can reach out with my hand and grab that cup. But if that cup were, 3 miles away, like say the horizon would be, it's going to be a lot more refracted than the cup that's sitting arm's reach from me right now.
But
And
when
we can actually quantify that, so we know how much that horizon would be refracted, so that when we see the horizon, when we're actually using a sextant, the proper way to use a sextant, once we find the horizon, we correct that dip and that refraction so that we're actually using the geometric horizon and not a refracted horizon. But I bet you didn't know that, did you?
I did, but I don't understand how you can not bat an eye at a whole horizon that's refracted and think that's totally normal and workable. It wasn't refracted horizon until the black swan came out, right?
we can quantify refraction. We know the effects, and sure, we may not be 100% right when we correct for refraction, because there are so many variables in the equation. So what we do is we take an average. That all that does is introduce a margin of error in our measurements. So if you look at who was it, Ruhif, that was on MC Toon a few weeks ago.
I watched that whole thing.
If you look at what he did, he had a margin of error of between 0 and 5 nautical miles, which is pretty fucking good, because if you're in a ship, you can get up on top of that ship and see 5 nautical miles.
100%. So honestly, I was disappointed the flat Earth guy didn't do a goddamn thing. So I didn't see our side of it.
No flat earther ever can do celestial navigation. They don't know how. They just want to argue against it, because that's what flat earthers do.
Do you know why?
Navigation based on
because they have the pre-selected conclusion that the Earth is flat. So anything that goes against that, they have to argue against. So that's why they argue against celestial navigation, is because celestial navigation is a goddamn good piece of evidence for the globe.
The first time I talked to McToon, he showed me that, and I laughed, and I went, "Wait, really?" Okay, hold on. I don't know enough about navigation to say why. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Here's why flat Earth is really quick primer.
Okay.
Science basically start off with hypothesis. Test that hypothesis, try to prove it wrong. That's what science does. It proves things wrong. It doesn't prove things right. It proves things wrong. So you start off with that.
You're literally trying to prove something wrong when you perform a scientific experiment.
Exactly.
You're trying
You're trying to
analyzing your results and then amending your procedure until you get the corrected, corroborated.
Yeah,
result.
I mean, okay, so you we'll skip to the hypothesis for right now, but you make your hypothesis, and it can be anything you want it to be,
Mhm.
but then you test that hypothesis, and if the test shows that the hypothesis is wrong, then
Start
you
over.
have disproved that hypothesis, and that's when you start over. You change your hypothesis to try to reflect what that test showed. And then maybe you try a different experiment, or you refine that experiment.
Right.
And you keep trying to prove yourself wrong over
Right.
and over and over. And maybe eventually you cannot prove yourself wrong. No matter what you do, you can't prove yourself wrong. So
then?
you're like, you know what? I'm going to write this up and I'm going to send it in to a scientific journal. So you send it into a scientific journal, and then guess what happens after that?
They test it, and if they can't.
Well, hang on. I want Shane to answer. Guess what happens after that?
I would assume they corroborate the results and then peer review to add it to your compendium of knowledge there.
No.
Oh.
Other people try their best to disprove you.
Well, yeah.
Because if you disprove something that's been printed, that's street cred in science.
Nobel Prize worth.
Yeah.
But
Especially if it's something that has been peer reviewed. That say
I don't know how I got to this.
say I published something and 100 other people performed my experiment and they got the same results and said it's confirmed. But then this one person performs the experiment and they're like, wait a second, I found this that's wrong. All of a sudden, they just disproved me and 100 other people. They've got big dick energy to walk around.
Dude, I like you. You're funny shit. Do you know the difference?
Yes, science can be really cutthroat
You,
because you're trying to disprove everyone else in science.
But what I was trying to get at,
you can win a lot of good shit by disproving people.
but what I was
Go
trying,
ahead, Sumi.
what I was trying to get at was that's the way science works. But the way pseudoscience works is start off with a conclusion, then you ignore all the data that disproves your conclusion.
Right. Construct a model based on preconceived ideas. Find data that agrees with that model. Discard data that doesn't. Shout trust the experts. I got it.
And you don't trust experts. That's the one thing about pseudoscience is you never trust the experts.
You know the main difference between people who think the Earth is a globe and people who think it's flat for real?
People that think it's flat are conspiracy minded.
Yeah.
So they have that. They
little
have
bit
that
deeper.
inherent distrust of authority. They have that
100%.
inherent distrust of people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about. And so they congregate towards people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's the difference between normal people and flat earthers.
It's more that we know that a small group of, let's say, families have yanked control over a large
Who
portion of the
gives a
infrastructure
shit?
of this place.
Who
Well-
gives a flying fuck about a small group of families
No,
when
they
I
don't-
can go out in my backyard and prove that the earth is a fucking globe right now if I wanted to?
How would you do that? Would you look at the gyroscope in the box in the back of the garage?
Okay, I
I could do that.
I have a simple,
I could. I have an even simpler way to do it.
Okay.
Go out in my backyard with a quilt, lay down and stare at the sky and fucking think.
Yeah.
Watch how the stars move and just think about it.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, you realize that there's only two possibilities. One, we're on a motionless globe with a bigger globe spinning around us. Or two, we're on a spinning globe with a bunch of shit really far away.
So you wouldn't think that you're looking a perfectly flat bed of stars that's processing equilaterally, but your
because that's
perception
not how
is
the stars
spherical.
move.
Oh.
Please,
Okay.
model for me how stars would move if they were on a flat plane and we were on a flat plane.
Okay.
How they would move. If you can model that to look like the actual stars, I will become a flat earther.
Well,
I have a
Period.
very simple experiment. It might cost a couple $100,
well,
but
we don't
it's
do
easily
money. We're all
done.
broke in Flight of Land.
But it's easily done if you can get together just a small amount of money. Get a
Oh,
telescope. Get a telescope. Get a telescope.
get a camera.
Or no. It has to be a telescope.
No, get a telescope.
It has to
So
be a
get a.
telescope.
We need a fisheye lens. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm busting
you
your
can
balls.
get
Go ahead.
you can get a camera for your
Go
telescope.
ahead, honey. Go upstairs. Go upstars,
Oh,
sweetheart.
what's my dog doing?
Go ahead. He's sitting at the bottom of the stairs.
He
Go
can
ahead,
go up. He's an old fart. I'm not picking him up.
Speaking of old dogs, my dog's how old's
All
your
right.
dog?
Oh, like 10, 12, what, 11? Hold on one sec.
Oh, same age as my dog.
Cute as hell, but it's such a little asshole. I'll be right back.
All right. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've been talking too much. I'm sorry, chat, that I have not paid attention to you guys tonight. I've just been into this. In case anyone didn't know, in case I didn't mention this earlier, this is my first debate ever. I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm just having fun doing it. So, hey, I hope I'm entertaining everyone, because
entertained?
maybe it's not so much about whether the Earth is flat or the Earth is a globe, but maybe it's about the friends we made along the way. That's the real debate. And this has been my TED Talk.
Yeah, Shane. You there now?
Yeah, I think you're muted, Shane.
I was going to say, oh, are we friends now? That's cool.
I mean, I can be friends with anyone. I can be a total asshole to someone if they deserve it. I mean, you seem like a pretty cool guy. I have thoroughly enjoyed this talk, and
You're way smarter than I thought you'd be, to be
another
honest.
talk sometime with you.
Buddies are what you eat.
Yeah. Just in case you don't know this, Shane, I think I've only said this once on stream, but when I was a kid, my parents used to always tell me that you are what you eat. So that's the story of how I became an asshole.
But yeah,
dude.
the experiment I was talking about, get a telescope, go to a beach, say California, or have to be the East Coast, 'cause go to the East Coast of the United States with a telescope. Plop that bitch on the beach, and look out. Make sure it's perfectly level. In Africa, the Earth is flat. If stars, the Earth is globe. That's simple.
Yeah.
Why can't I fucking share more than a window? Whatever. Need sound?
I mean, eventually, that's what a telescope does. A telescope, all it does is increase the angular size of objects.
Yeah. So
that's what a zoom on a camera does. It's just that a telescope does it a hell of a lot better than any camera does.
You guys are going to be flat earthers now, right? If I show you this?
So eventually, if you get a telescope that is strong enough that can increase the angular size of objects enough, you should be able to make out the Eiffel Tower. You should be able to make out
who says that?
Mount Kilimanjaro from
how far do you think humans can see?
That's why telescope.
As far as light can travel.
Yeah. What about
as long
density and
as
interference
long as a photon hits your eyeball, you can see it.
Human
you
sight
may not be able to make it out.
Human sight is actually infinite. You can see an infinite distance. No, it is. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Look
That's
into
absurd, dude.
No, it isn't.
All your eyes are is a light receptor.
Yeah.
As long as light hits your eyes.
That, but atmospheric density and atmospheric interference and just the perspective of your limit can only see a certain amount. You can't see forever infinitely.
You can see
infinitely. Okay.
Absurd.
Hang on. Show me.
Show you that we can only see 7 miles? Sure. But let's do this first, right?
No. You
you
just said that there's a limit
if I showed you stars. Yeah.
You said there's a limit due to atmospheric density and What else? Perspective. So
Human
show me the
perspective, yes, sir.
calculations of exactly how far my eyes can see.
We can show you the sun fading out about 7 to 8 miles away on a
No, I
perfectly
said
clear
show me
day
the
over horizon.
calculations. Show me the math.
What?
I may be a complete
thought-
dumbass, but I do kind of understand math.
How is
So-
math going to
look
show
up-
me how far you
So,
can see?
so show me the math, and then from that is a prediction. When you show me the math, then we have a prediction. We have a hypothesis. Now we're doing the scientific method here. We have a
Yeah.
hypothesis that we can test. So I want you to write out the math for this so that we can test it, and then we can see whether you're right or wrong. And then if you're wrong, maybe we can refine the math a little bit to make a new hypothesis, and we can test that.
You guys, there we go.
The far point is, however, due to refraction as well as atmospheric conditions, you can only see so far on the Earth, but that's only.
We'll hit perspective limit in a second, but this is the flat stars on a flat plane refracted to a spherical limit of perspective. Ready? You guys gonna be flat Earth as you said so. Oh, wait a second. And we'll do you one better. This little stars precess at 15 degrees per hour. Oh.
Yeah, because we rotate at 15 degrees
Do
per hour.
you see that? Is it blowing up my flat Earthers now?
No.
Oh.
Because hang on. Go back like 5 seconds, please. Okay, pause it. Yeah. Okay, so if I'm on that boat, it's showing that I see those stars down at the horizon, right?
It showed you could see like from here to here of these stars in a dome shape around you. You can't see these stars or these stars. You with me?
Okay, so what is the mechanism behind that?
What do you mean the mechanism? You can see as far as you can in the direction.
Okay, why if I'm on a boat and I'm looking
what's with the boat?
Looking
a dude sitting in the water, clearly.
Hang on. If I'm on the boat and I'm looking perpendicular to the ground, parallel to the ground towards the horizon, how am I seeing something that's, up 75 degrees above that horizon in the air? What is causing that thing that's 75 degrees above the horizon to appear on the horizon for me?
Okay, are you with me?
I mean,
one of my favorites.
That wasn't the kind of model that I was talking about.
No, but it's getting there. This is how we show you how you can see about 6,000 miles in front and back to give you about a 12,000 mile spherical observable range.
Okay.
Now, this is also where we get to corpuscular and anti-corpuscular rays. The sun's rays don't converge forever. They reach a point and then so they turn to anti-corpuscular rays, right? Is this so far so good?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear that, or did I not have sound?
No.
Well,
you've got the volume turned way down on that video.
So this is the same model, perpendicular level stars progressing from left to right horizontally. The guy in the middle who can see about this far, 6,000 miles to see the visual stars, and this represents the portion of the stars you can see, noting that it's not the whole sky, right?
Okay.
Cool. And then this moves with them. This was a rebuttal to Craig's. If I have a sextant and I measure Polaris and I go 80 nautical miles, then it decreases the perspective in 1 degree, right? This is what this is meant to refute. You guys are familiar with that argument? He throws it out at every interview.
Sure, yeah. That's literally how you can tell that you're on a globe. So what is the mechanism behind it? Why are these stars going down in my sight? That's what I'm curious about.
Because
if these stars are 75, 80 degrees, whatever it is above me, why am I looking parallel to the ground to see them?
What do you mean parallel to the ground?
That first diagram that I had you pause on showed the stars at the horizon. So I'm looking at those stars at the horizon, but they're, 60, 70, 80 degrees. I don't know. Above me.
This one, right? See, looking at, you're saying, why can you see this over here?
Yeah.
Well, this is if you'd match the formation right here, this is like the Big Dipper sort of right over here. And because it's
what's causing the Big Dipper that's above me to appear beside me?
Human perspective. You see a sphere around
perspective you. Is alpha equals 2 times the arctan of G over 2R. So insert the numbers into the formula to show me that thing that's, at a 75 degree angle above me, the Big Dipper, is now appearing 10 degrees above the horizon.
Not the sextant. What's the other one? The protractor, right? Measuring the angular, the perspective height from the horizon from your angular flat plane. And as it decreases,
perspective height really isn't a thing, but
I messed up the words. You got me there. I had a better.
It's all good.
You know what?
I sometimes flub things like that too, but
sometimes I just mumble
because
and
I'm trying.
Understand.
Because I'm trying to follow everything. When you say something like that, I may have to call it out just to get. No, we're not doing Nathan Oakley. You can stop
like
sharing
him?
that. No,
all
fuck that guy. He can eat a bag of dicks and choke on them and die for all I care. He is a despicable human being.
You're right.
And I will not talk to him.
Honestly, I came from my side to go talk to them, and they gave me a timeout and a slap, and I was like, "What the fuck do you guys think you are? What is this shit, dude?"
Yeah, he's a complete piece of shit that does not deserve.
So I just
me talking to him.
He doesn't deserve that. That's true, and he doesn't deserve my time either, to be honest. But he did do a nice little demonstration of the protractor measuring angle above the horizon. Right, that's all we're trying to show is that. You could be an idiot, and you can be an asshole, and you can be an ignorant asshole. It's different things, right? I agree with you guys on that one. But we started this little presentation by saying, if you show me how the stars appear flat but spherical, I'll become a flat earther.
No. I said model the stars out. Every star, and so it doesn't have to be every single star, but pretty much every star. Like if you go out and lay in your backyard and stare up at the sky for 20 minutes, model out every single star from that, model them over over a nighttime. We'll say 8 hours. Model how they move for 8 hours, every single star, and show me that how we can be on a flat earth by just modeling the stars that you can see just laying in your yard for 8 hours. Just show me that. Model those out exactly how you see them. If you see a star, say on the horizon, you're laying flat on your back and you look over to your left and you see a star on the horizon and you watch it move up to say 30 degrees above your feet and then go back down. And then you look over directly to your left. You see another star at the horizon. And you watch it go up and go straight above you. And then another one up above your head does the same thing. Goes like maybe 30 degrees up and back down. Model that out for me. Model exactly how those stars move on a flat Earth, and I'll become a flat earther. Because
you better stop saying that, man. I'm going to get you on one of these.
Once you actually model out how the stars really do move, all you're doing with this is just showing a disc spinning. That's not how the stars move in real life.
This is a time lapse, right? So if we start here, do
no,
one day. You said 8 hours, right? So 8 hours is really accurately measured right here. You said 8 hours.
That's not how they move in real life, though.
What do you mean?
I mean, literally, you can lay in your backyard and watch them. That's not how they move in real life.
How do you think they move?
Like a celestial sphere.
Perfect circles around Polaris. within
not perfect
whatever
circle.
your
Not
Okay,
perfectly
okay.
circular.
Hang on.
Okay.
This that you're showing right here.
Mhm.
Go back to the last thing. Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Play that again. That's not how the stars move.
Because they actually move clockwise as
Because
well.
yeah, because uh
Horizontal.
the angular change is different
Yeah.
depending on the elevation of the star from your perspective.
Yeah.
Right. But
They
they
don't just
do.
move. They don't just move
So it's
horizontally
not
across
just
the sky.
like that just showed a sheet of stars scrolling past left to right.
It
That's
just
not how
shows
the
the
stars move.
same thing you're looking
This
at
isn't
turned
an
the other way.
accurate this isn't an accurate modeling of how the stars move.
So how's this one, right? So a little dude with a flat Earth with the stars going around him, and he goes to different points on the flat Earth to show how this little apparent dome of stars around him goes with him. Right? This is a neat little. All right, so the same stars, different perspective. Right over here, he's seeing.
I'm just seeing a pause screen.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
I just see a
I
sunset
shared the wrong
pause
thing.
screen.
Yeah, I tried to share the whole desktop and it don't let me. It doesn't,
Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
can
like
only
that.
share one screen at a time on here.
That's really what it's telling
Jitsi,
me.
okay, so
Nail it.
I love
All right,
love
cool.
Jitsi, but it does have its problems. But as long as it's free for unlimited use,
100%,
we will
dude,
keep
right?
using it.
Yeah.
Although I do have Zoom that I pay for. We could have used.
Oh well, yeah, we
Next
we
time.
like Jitsi. We're used to Jitsi.
I bet I get used to it. You're right, because I'm not going to keep paying that shit. So
Yeah.
we started with this, right? The middle, with the stars going around them.
Okay,
Hey, here's a.
Right.
I'll show you something.
hang on, Zumi.
We're almost there.
Let's not move past this. Let him finish
Okay.
presenting this.
So as they're looking to the south, they're seeing the mirrored reverse reflection of the inner star circling. That's why it looks apparently
Okay.
like
So
Full Metal cells all the
if
time.
I'm standing next to him, I'll see duplicates of stars. Is that how
Not
this
duplicate,
works?
reversed and mirrored. Watch. This is a pretty tough one. So you see, this is two of the northern and southern sky, but it tracks the same constellation, and you can see how it's mirrored and red. Let me slow it back
That's
down.
not the same constellation, though.
Oh, useless music. All right, so we're gonna put it there, and we're gonna mirror it and flip it, and that's what we see. Boom. From the south to the north. Right, one more time. Here's how it looks in the south.
Okay.
And then here's the correlation to the north with the same constellation
Okay.
mirrored and flipped.
Okay. So what latitude were both of those? What latitude and longitude were both of those taken at? What time
That's
of
a
year?
fair question,
What
sir.
date was it? We can't determine anything without the actual information for this.
I'm not proving it. I'm just showing you a model of how it would work
All you're doing
conceptually.
is showing
Right?
me two videos that look similar and then saying that proves this other thing that I made
No.
up.
I'm saying how if on this model that we're seeing here, which you didn't like very much, then the flat stars progressing horizontally in your visual dome of perspective.
That's not an accurate model. That's a cool.
Well, yeah, globes are made cartoons for kids, but not for educational purposes. That's what
what's the word I'm thinking of?
So this is what you didn't like.
That's a cool made up thing that someone did, but it doesn't reflect reality, and that's the problem. And that's why I said model these stars actually the way they move.
You see this?
Instead of saying it's a disc and then trying to fit everything around that.
But
What
this
you're
is
doing
what we observe right here.
is what you said earlier is pseudoscience. You're starting with the conclusion saying that it's this disc of stars above us that's just rotating, and then you're trying to fit everything into that assumption.
I'm just trying to prove this little model that you guys didn't like, and he refuted everything about it. So I had to backtrack to do the sphere. I had to backtrack to do the north versus the
Sure.
south, right?
And,
So I mean, we're
and
still
that's
here.
the problem with flat Earth. Everything about flat Earth is easily refuted. If someone as stupid as me can refute this shit,
You haven't refuted anything.
I mean,
then,
come
right?
on,
But
dude.
hold on. Here's a drone doing the Craig's analysis little picture, right? We do. Let's see, where'd it go? He measures it from the surface of the lake to apparently where it is, and watches it dip 1 degree,
I'm
even though
not
he
seeing
doesn't move at
anything.
all.
Are you sharing?
Crap! I switched back to the thing, dude. Brave tab. Oh, you bitch, dude. All right, back to this one. Where's his drone? Mm-mm. I think I stole his video and ripped it off. I did. Okay, hold on. I was thinking I had his. You guys hate him. Nope. That ain't gonna work. Let's spell it out. I definitely ripped off his work. Forgot that I stole it. One. Cool. There it is. I don't bother subscribing. Where'd it go? Hey, come on, it wasn't that long ago.
Thinking of Mitchell from Australia, I fucking love how he filmed a pendulum that didn't work and said that proved that the Earth is flat.
He also has a drone, which I thought was cool. That was my
Yeah,
only,
he loves doing deceptive things with his drone. It's cute.
What do you mean deceptive? He measures it.
Yeah, and you notice how he'll show that it's in a certain mode, and then he'll take the controller off the screen real quick, and then he'll start flying it.
I did not.
And he
notice
doesn't
that.
show the screen of the controller while it's flying, and then he'll land it, and then he'll move the controller back in
Did
front
he
of the
really?
camera so you can see the screen. That's because he takes it out of that mode.
Well, hold on. Maybe we saw a different video because I didn't even see a cut.
I
from
mean,
the thing
well,
that I watched.
this was a long time ago. This was like 3 years ago now.
So he used his
But
drone before
yeah,
then.
that was one of the things he did. It's been so long. I don't pay attention to Mitchell because he's so fucking stupid.
I only found Mitchell because Craig's statement that I found a refutation by Mitchell using his drone. That's the only reason I even know who he is, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
Mitchell
mother-
is a dumbass, and he
You think-
literally went to a museum with a broken pendulum and said that that broken pendulum proves that the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right, fuck that.
You know, just like the video you showed us earlier of the woman that maybe she had a broken gyroscope. We don't know. She doesn't say. We don't know the circumstances. There's no video of the circumstances. There's no way to prove what happened in that circumstance. But then you showed, I guess that was an astronaut later, that said the gyroscope was broken. And again, all you're doing is saying these things are broken, therefore this. That's not how logic plays out.
Here,
Well-
I'll show you something real.
Go ahead while I
Real
find
quick.
this shit. Let me stop.
Trying to find it.
Mm-hmm. Did I stop? You're good.
This is how the Earth, how what stars actually do, like that little.
Yeah. I like time lapse videos of Star Trek. Yeah, like that where they speed it up so you can see. Yeah, you see how it looks like the stars further away from the center of rotation there are moving a lot faster in that time lapse. That's how the stars actually move.
Wait, you mean they don't
But
make concentric circles around Polaris?
around both the not around Polaris, but around
I'm not gonna say the fake south.
the North Pole center of rotation and the South Pole center of rotation.
Yeah.
So Polaris is about half a degree or so away from that center of rotation. So if you look up time lapse of the rotation, you'll see that Polaris makes like this little tiny circle.
4 arc degrees that makes you instead measured. That's the width of a tiniest measurement within the tool you use to
also-
measure it. What do you say?
But Polaris,
I mean, there are more accurate tools than that, but the tool that he used, yes.
and Polaris actually is moving at a fraction of a picometer.
Yeah,
Sure.
someone told
So-
me that, and it's never.
I
made-
mean,
It's
someone
recorded.
didn't tell me that.
do you think we've had a different
Nautical
North Star?
almanacs from hundreds of years told
Yeah.
us that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The things that people back before we had inertial navigation systems and inertial reference systems and ring laser gyros and things like that, back before we had that, this was how people navigated. So if this shit's wrong, people get lost in sea and die. So
Mhm.
it has to be right for them to survive. So you would assume now we can't build a time machine. I as stupid as I am, I have not figured out time travel, and I don't think I will. So I can't build a time machine and travel back to verify. But we can extrapolate from the data that people did in fact get where they were going
Mhm.
using these charts.
How far back do you think they were
Therefore-
doing this?
600 years, 700 years, something like that.
So-
I mean, the Vikings navigated using the sun and using the North Star, and
Right.
that was 1,000 years ago. But as far as when was the sextant? I'm about to show my mad googling skills
18
here.
or something. Yeah, I remember I looked this up before.
Uh,
It was
when-
18. Let's see. Yep.
Sextant invented
Invented.
1757.
Really?
Yeah. The sextant, an instrument for measuring angles, was developed from a suggestion by Captain John Campbell of the
1757.
Royal Navy in 1757. So you were just thinking 18th century.
Yeah, that must have
I
been
get
it.
shit
Thanks
like
for
that
saving me there.
as well. But I'm sure I'm not going to look this up right now because it'll take time and drag things down. But
Mhm.
I'm sure that I could find out what came before the sextant and how people were
The
able to
astrolabe.
navigate. The
How's
astrolabe,
that?
yeah,
Astrolabe
astrolabe.
lobe, yeah, you're right.
yeah, and the Antikythera device and things like that. Like there were things before the sextant that people
Cross
used
that.
to navigate from the stars as well. So from that, we can extrapolate that they had figured out how the stars worked, and they got where they were going without getting lost at sea. So from that data,
Therefore, the Earth's a globe. I lost
no,
you.
from that data, we can then say that the charts that they used were probably they don't have to be 100% correct, because you're never going to get 100% of anything.
Mhm.
Period. There's always going to be a margin of error.
Even in the McToon thing, you said, you're right when
Yeah.
you get there. Like, okay.
But they're going to be very close to right, and so we can make that assumption without having to worry about it too much. That yes, they were pretty close to right, and from those nautical almanacs, we can see that Polaris has moved over the past 300-400 years, whatever it is. MC Toon has it on his website, so
I know. I laughed hard when you
also,
showed me.
you
It
can
was funny.
you can look it up and see.
And also,
So that's how you would extrapolate that data to see without inventing a time machine and going back.
We can
That's
invent
how
some
you would
garbage
extrapolate that data and see for yourself whether it's probably right or whether it's full of shit. Because people got where they're going without dying 300 years ago, it's probably somewhat right.
So this was the first one where we do the to represent Polaris, and then it decreasing 1 degree as it decreases its apparent perspective, right? It doesn't go anywhere. You're staying still, but because it goes away, the angle decreases, right? Just like as you said it would for 80 nautical miles retreating from Polaris to any edge, right?
Sure. So because of that, we'll be able to measure the height of that drone, right? So if
Right.
we're looking, just pause it at any point. Okay. So we're looking 59.5 degrees up. So that's one of our angles. We also have an angle of 90 degrees. We can also figure out how far we are from where that drone is above the Earth. And boom, we have a triangle. So let's just say that drone is 100 feet away from us across the ground. So
isn't there no height on here? You guys are smarter than me.
We have one side of an angle right there. It's 100 feet. We have a 59.6 degree angle, and we have a 90 degree angle.
Okay.
So we can go to a triangle calculator and solve for that.
Something like let's see. It's right here. Boop, like right here.
Hang on, let me get back.
We would do something like this. This is huge. Come on, buddy. There you go. Right?
There it is, yeah. Yeah, so then we could calculate that triangle, and we could calculate the exact height of that star.
Or the apparent.
We could find out exactly where that star is.
But he's saying that because it decreases, apparently, to your perspective, 1 degree per 60 or 80 nautical miles, then the Earth is a globe. And like, well, no, if the drone just goes further away from you, it does the same apparent thing to your perspective.
Right. And you can keep calculating those triangles. So, okay. So hang on. Let me get a triangle calculator. We're going to do let me share my screen, and I'll talk you through this.
But hold on. We started by saying that proves a globe because it decreases 1 arc degree. We said, well, this drone also does that. And he said, well, he moves it and cuts it and takes it off.
Hang on. Just let me get through this. I'm going to share my screen.
Let's stop.
Google, and we're not going to look up porn for once. We're going to look up triangle calculator. Hey, I've done that before.
Started with the ex-wife, the banana joke. You guys are great.
Yeah. Okay. So we have ourselves a triangle, and I'm going to erase that. So we're standing right here, and we have 59.6 degrees. And we know that we are 100 feet from the drone. And we know that the drone is 90 degrees from the point that it's directly above.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, side A, the drone is 170. We'll just say 170 feet, 6 inches. It's close enough. 170 feet, 6 inches above the ground, right? So then we back up. And now...
Don't forget fake adjustment for fake horizon and fake refraction.
I got to do another one. Oh, okay, here we go. We back up. So now we're measuring 58.6 degrees. And we don't know how far we are across the ground. Delete there. Sorry.
Oh,
but we do know that it's 170.4. So now we know that we've backed up, and we're now 104 feet from that drone. Mm-hmm. Right? You see where I'm going with this, right? We can do the same thing with Polaris. So figure out where you are, you said you're somewhere near. We'll just say Boston. I know that's a general area.
Yeah.
It's a big city. You know, I tell people I'm from Charlotte, North
So I
Carolina.
could tell you, but you wouldn't recognize it, right?
Yeah,
That's the
even though
Somerset.
even though I'm not from Charlotte, I tell people I'm from Charlotte because it's the closest big city that people know. So we'll just say you're from Boston. So from Boston, say you're going to measure that angle to Polaris, and I don't know what the latitude of Boston is. We'll say 45 degrees. So you measure 45 degrees, and you know that how far is 45 degrees? Hey, chat, do something for me. How far, if you're at 45 degrees, how far are you from the North Pole?
I looked this up before, but I don't think I can do it.
I'll look it up.
Depending on chat.
Well, we'll just
negative 71.057.
That's not a distance.
That's a longitude. I thought we're looking for longitude. Oh.
No. We're looking for how far we are. Let me just use the calculator on my phone. So if we're at 45 degrees, we know that we're 45 degrees from the North Pole. And we know that it's 60 nautical miles per degree. So 45 times 60 is 2,700 nautical miles. Okay, so we'll go back to the calculator. And this time, we know that we're looking at 45 degrees. Delete. And we know that we're 2,700 nautical miles from the North Pole. And of course, the North Pole, like I said, it is half a degree off or whatever, but pretty much it's directly above the North Pole. And boom, look at that. We have a height of Polaris. Polaris is now 2,700 nautical miles in the air. All right. You still with me here? I know.
I was drawing dicks to Sir Little Wolf. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I know this is somewhat hard to follow, but we know 2,700 is the height for Polaris, right? So let's move 1 degree north. So we've gone from Boston to, we'll say, what's north of Boston? Kennebunkport, Maine. We're now in Kennebunkport, Maine.
North.
We're sitting at George Bush's house in Kennebunkport, Maine, and I know this because I have been to George Bush's house in Kennebunkport, Maine before. I have a picture of myself swimming in the ocean next to his house. Actually, Daddy Bush, but okay. I guess it's owned by.
I don't think W had his own house at this point.
Yeah, it's all the Bush's house, really. It's the family house up in Kennebunkport. So we'll just say that's 1 degree north of Boston. And we know that 2,700 nautical miles is how high Polaris is. But if we solve this triangle, suddenly we traveled 95 nautical miles instead of 60 nautical miles. And we know that 60 nautical miles is 1 degree, right? I mean, that's literally the definition.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow this triangle's not starting to not work. Somehow instead of 2760, we got 2795. I'm sorry. I said Kennebunkport. I wonder if people in chat have called me out for that. I said north, and I meant
town is, buddy. It was right to me.
I meant south instead of north. Because decreasing your latitude means going south in the northern hemisphere. So yeah, I said north, but I meant south. So yeah, all of a sudden, instead of being 2760 from the North Pole, it says we're 2795. Well, I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's move another degree.
Have you done this before? Are you winging it? Or are you trapping me here?
I'm winging it.
Can't tell. Okay.
I mean, I know what's going to happen, but I am winging this. So let's say, we move another degree south. We know that it's 60 nautical miles per degree. We start at 2,700 nautical miles. So 2,700 plus 60 plus 60 should be 2,820, right? Why is it 2,895? Something's wrong here. I don't know. Let's move further south. Let's go down to where I live.
Are we moving the drone in the sky, or are we moving its apparent position? Right, that's what we're trying to refute. The drone moving up and down, but this triangle shows how it.
No, I mean, you're using the drone as a representation of Polaris, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we're doing. We found out that Polaris is 2,700 nautical miles above the surface of the Earth. So now we're testing that. So we're going to go to 33 degrees. And again, we're off. So either the Earth is curving, and let me pull up Sly Sparkane, because Sly Sparkane modeled this out really well. It was a while ago. It'll take me go ahead and talk. It'll take me a minute to find this.
I just wanted to see where we're going. Constantly with my drone frozen in the little mid measuring, pretending to be Polaris, how it's not moving but apparently shifting 1 degree without the observer changing its perspective at all. Right? You're standing there stationary, measuring it, aiming at it, watching it go further away on a flat plane, which apparently looks like it's receding.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing is called triangulation. That's it.
Well, we're just observing. We're using the protractor right now. We're observing its apparent height from our flat horizon. We haven't triangulated yet at all yet. It's still just a drone flying over a lake, right?
Right. But you can triangulate from that instead of just staring at your drone and walking away and going, it looks lower. I guess the Earth's flat. You can actually do a little bit of math, which is what I've been doing here, and figure out exactly what the Earth should be doing and then test that. That's what we're doing here.
We backwards comparing your scientific method again, trying to get the results.
Yeah, we're testing a hypothesis right now. And I'm trying to find that damn video from Sly Sparkane. If anyone in chat knows the one I'm talking about, it was his.
All the team want to do is fillet Phil Bell. I don't know if they're going to help you out, bud.
Walter Smith.
No, it was Sly Sparkane's Eratosthenes experiment.
Is that with the multiple perspectives, modern adaptation? He emailed me in length about that, I think.
Yeah, he got people from all over the world to make the observation, and then he modeled it out. And it shows how he modeled it out both on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. I don't know why. Okay, there it goes. For some reason, it wouldn't let me go any further.
I got no time limit, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm being boring to the people in chat that are watching. Just me scrolling through Sly Sparkane's videos, trying to find a damn video.
Oh, my chat's calling me retarded. Is that to me? Yeah.
No, it's probably to me.
These retards. Oh, no, it's these. Maybe it's you. You know what? He's probably calling us both retarded.
Yeah, well, they're not wrong.
Yeah, where's your channel, buddy? Why don't you do something? Show me. Guys are all talk.
Yeah.
So you've seen Mitchell fuck with his drone before, like, and change it mid. What's called?
Yeah, there was this video of, like I said, it was like 3 years ago now. It could have been 2 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago, where what he was doing was he said he was turning off what mode was it? It was like the GPS mode where it stays in that one spot. He was turning that off to see if it would drift as the Earth rotates.
Mm.
So he shows his controller and he shows turning that mode off. And then he takes his controller away from the camera. And like 5 seconds later, he lifts his drone off. So, all he did was he moved his controller away from the camera, turned GPS hold back on, lifted his drone up, and filmed it for an hour, staying in the same spot. And then came back, or however long, I don't know. It wasn't an hour. It was, however long the battery lasts, 30 minutes or whatever. And then he came back and let it land and then switched the GPS mode back off and showed his controller again.
That's deceptive, huh?
That's all he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen him before, but I wouldn't put it past people to do dumb shit for YouTube views. Of course not.
Yeah.
Both sides.
I mean, that's all Flat Earth is parlor tricks and, lies. You have to lie to flurf. Or you have to be fooled well enough to think that you're not lying.
Let me ask you guys
It's one or
something.
the other.
When you looked into Flat Earth, I assume you did. Did you look other than YouTube and Google? Or was that it? The sum total of your research?
Sure.
Where else did you look?
Sure. I mean, well, Google's a starting point. I didn't just say, "Hey Google, is the Earth round or flat?" I Googled like for instance, I Googled how does a gyroscope work. I Googled what is inertial navigation systems and how do they work, and then I started reading shit. And I went to YouTube and I typed in inertial navigation system and I watched videos where people explain. I've actually got a couple of videos up here. I'm not going to play them, but like this one right here, Astronomy and Nature TV, how a gyroscope guides a rocket. I'll watch things like that. And that's I closed most of them. But then I've got like this right here. This is all about Schuler tuning. And
I don't even know what that is.
Schuler tuning is a design principle for inertial navigation systems that accounts for the curvature of the Earth. Literally the first sentence of the description of what Schuler tuning is. And basically Schuler, this guy, what was his name? Something German. We'll call him, I think it was Wilhelm or something like that.
Oh, my bad.
Wilhelm Schuler, I think was his name. Invented this theory called Schuler tuning back in like 1903 because some Germans were wanting to take a submarine under the polar ice cap at the North Pole. But to do that, they needed to navigate underwater. And the problem at the time was we had magnetic compasses. But when you're inside this big steel tube underwater, a magnetic compass does not work because you're kind of in a big magnetic thing.
Gotcha.
So they needed a way to figure out. See, this was actually my second piece of evidence tonight that we never got to. But that's fine. We can talk about it another time. We can talk about it now. But I'll just give you this short gist.
Free education, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah. What they did was the company said, well, hey, we can use a gyroscope. And if you put a little bit of resistance on a gyroscope so that it doesn't precess and it doesn't drift, it will point to the 0, 0, 0 XYZ axes. And it will maintain that. So the only problem was they couldn't quite figure out how to get it to not precess and not drift. So this guy, Wilhelm Schuler, figured out this method of kind of like I talked about earlier, imagining that the gyroscope was the top of a pendulum and the center of the Earth was the bottom of the pendulum. And what he did was he measured the time it would take to orbit the Earth. He used I forget what the formula is called.
You mean marine navigation to circumnavigate?
No.
Or,
No, to orbit what he did, he used the radius of the Earth, and he used 3979 miles, which is the average if you take, because the equator bulges a little bit, and the southern hemisphere is a little bit bigger
Little late spheroid will get you.
than the northern hemisphere. So the average is like 3970-ish, something like that. So I think that's the number he used. And then he used gravity, 9.81 meters per second squared, plugged them into this equation, and came out with, if you were sitting on the surface of the Earth, it was like 84.4 minutes to do one orbit of the Earth, where an orbit is basically you're falling to Earth, but you keep missing. So that would be how fast you would need to travel if you're sitting on the surface of the Earth. 84.4 minutes would be one rotation around the Earth without falling into the Earth.
Just like
And
orbital
used
velocity
that-
to maintain, sort of thing. Or...
Yeah. Basically figuring out the orbital velocity equation or something like that. So he used that. Assuming you're really loud all of a sudden,
right?
He used that to figure out exactly how much resistance had to be placed on the gyroscope to make it always point north. And I'm not 100% on this. I haven't gone through all the math yet and everything, so I can't tell you exactly how he came to this. In fact, I just told you everything I know about it.
Why would you need to adjust the gyro, right?
But basically, he used that foundation to figure out how to keep a gyroscope pointing in the same direction, pointing north, and that's how a gyrocompass works. And that's why no matter what, a gyrocompass points to the actual North Pole and not the magnetic North Pole.
Because those two things are different on the fake globe, right?
I mean, those two things are different in reality. You can
Cartoon,
measure
yeah.
that for yourself. You can go out. Do you have a compass?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Get on
I got
Amazon.
a picture of a compass.
Get on Amazon and buy yourself just cheap hiking compass, something like that. Go out in your yard and find find Polaris,
Mm-hmm.
and then hold the compass in front of you, between you and Polaris, and see if that compass points at Polaris. It will not. Especially where you are. There's a thing called magnetic declination.
I was just going to say that. The
You've
spherical
got
bouncing around, the polarity.
Yeah, well, you've got me way off topic here.
That was my goal. I win,
Of
dude.
course. But yeah, this right here, this is the magnetic declination map.
Right. I got to go.
And you can see down here in the bottom right, this is the south magnetic pole right here.
That's funny.
And the North Magnetic Pole is up. It's just north of Canada. So for you, we'll just say, we'll just say Boston. So you're right on this line right here. I'm sorry, it's a little bit blurry. You're like 1.8 degrees off. So. Or 18 degrees off, I believe. I don't have a key to this. I was just using this as an illustration, but we'll say 18. So if you held that compass up between you and Polaris, the compass needle would be pointing. It's either 1.8 or 18, whichever it is, degrees to the left of Polaris. You can test this for yourself literally with just a cheap $5 compass.
I wish I had done that beforehand so I could say I have to show you you're wrong, but I can't.
Yeah, I've got a I've got a little hiking stick that has a compass on the handle so that I can see which direction I'm going. Back when I used to do backpacking mountain climbing, I've got several compasses because I used to strap on a backpack and go up in the mountains and disappear for several days at a time.
Why did I think you were as fat as me, dude? No?
No, I am now because
Okay.
I'm disabled.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Uh,
I just got the feeling that you were with the
yeah, no,
yeah.
we're about the same size probably. But yeah, back, like 2004 to 2006 ish, something like that. I did what's called the Sixers, which is climb all the mountains in North Carolina that are above 6,000 feet in elevation.
dude.
And I didn't finish them. Seems like I had 2 or 3 to go. I can't remember now, but yeah, I used to love backpacking and mountain climbing and shit like that.
So you have a compass and you can use it. I believe you, sir.
Yeah, so you can do this very easily, and you can get. I think this is like 2020's chart. So if it's blue, then the North Pole. I think I forget how to read it. If it's blue, North Pole, the geographic North Pole is to the right of the magnetic North Pole. If it's red, the magnetic North Pole is to the right of the geographic North Pole. I think.
You guys don't feel the amount of hoops you have to jump through to pretend that there's a South Pole and that the magnetic pole isn't the geometric pole, and they don't flat Earth. It's always the same pole, right? We have none of this. It's very easy.
I mean, you can test this for yourself. I don't have to jump through any hoops because this is how magnets work. Magnets have 2 poles.
Where's the bipolar sphere in nature that we're modeling? I'm sorry.
We're fucking sitting on it right now.
Where's one that really exists?
We're literally sitting on
anything in nature. Show me a bipolar sphere anywhere in nature that's not the planet Earth.
We're sitting on.
Is that it?
A magnetic dynamo right the fuck now.
Come on, where do the bipolar sphere exist in nature, bud?
We're sitting on one right now.
One more. Name one that we're not on. Or anywhere in nature.
Okay, Venus.
Okay,
there's one.
Right.
I can look up in the sky and see Venus.
Fact is, they don't exist. Only a circle with.
I think Mars actually is not one though.
Mars doesn't have a South Pole,
or I don't remember exactly, but
why
I know
would that not have a South Pole?
Mars, because Mars's core.
It's in Canada. That's
dead.
Why.
I think, and don't quote me on this, I may be completely wrong, but Mars's core either slowed down or has died, so it doesn't have the magnetic field around it anymore, which is why it's lost so much of its atmosphere. The magnetic field around the planet helps to protect it and helps to keep the atmosphere around it.
Definitely not in Canada. Got it.
What do you
guys
mean?
Know that? That's where they filmed the Mars lander. It was in Canada, dude. Right here. It's in. Let's see. Prove it. I'll just show you where they have the NASA base.
That is a positive claim. So do me a favor. Take take the NASA footage.
Oh no.
Every bit of NASA footage, every fucking picture of every picture that NASA has taken of Mars, and show me where on Earth it is. Match it up. Do it.
I mean, we found the base.
You made the
NASA
claim.
Hood and everything, and they said, "Well, no, we just filmed it there. We got it ready there. We didn't film it there." You made the claim.
Now prove it.
Okay.
Do it. I'm waiting here. I'll stop sharing my screen. You can share your screen and you can show me.
Where is it? Come on. Oh, look, the NASA lander. Look, they landed on Mars. And/or.
Sure.
Oh, wait. Look how excited they are. Come
Yeah, I
on.
would be too if I did that.
Would you?
Goddamn right I would be.
If I put it in my backyard and made it seem like we're in Greenland. Oh, wait a second. Oh, the same hills, the same picture, even the little NASA base rover. Oh, look, the rover from Mars. Hold on.
Where? I don't
Wait
see
a
it.
second. Hold
Show
on.
me.
Oh, wait. Wait. There it is. Come on. Oh, and boom. Oh my God, is that NASA? No. They're doing something
Sure.
else probably.
Sure. Okay. So so then show me any picture that NASA says is from Mars. Show me exactly where it is on Earth.
But we
You don't
hold
think that
on.
NASA would maybe find somewhere that looks kind of like Mars and test shit before they send billions and billions of dollars of
I think
equipment
if we caught them, they
into
would say they
space?
were doing that. 100%. Oh, it's
Then
not
catch
them, though.
them. I'm asking you to catch them. Show me.
Devon Island and Mars, right there. That's in the
Uh,
thumbnail.
Okay. So
It's a red filter. Don't be
so
confused.
so show me the NASA picture.
You mean that what? Someone from Flat Earth Land fake Mars?
No. Go back to the thumbnail. Which one of those came from NASA?
Left hand side? He said with an upward inflection.
Where? Show me where.
Official. Show me the
Show me
official.
where. Yeah, show me the official
Official
picture from NASA that is that
Yeah.
that thumbnail that you just said is from NASA. Show me.
Mhm.
I mean, go to NASA's do it right now. Go to NASA's website and show me that picture on NASA's website where they're claiming it's from Mars. It's that simple. I'm asking you to do that to prove to me that they didn't go to Mars.
I'm sorry. I have no interest in Mars. I don't know why I brought it up. you brought it up. That's why. I have no interest in NASA or Mars. Let's go back to what you were looking at. This thing, right?
NASA's
No.
NASA has
Made a
done a
claim.
fuck ton for us. But yeah, you made a
NASA's full of
claim.
shit.
You made a claim.
Back it up.
So back it up. Don't
Don't avoid it. Back it up. Go to
Okay,
go to
dude,
NASA's
alright.
website. Go to the website
Alright.
and find that precise image. Go to
So
NASA's
here's what I'm going
website.
to do. I'm going to go to NASA Mars Gallery.
Because NASA actually finds every photo they take.
Yeah.
They don't leave it.
So
out.
so if that thumbnail was a picture that NASA provided, we should be able to find it here. Here, I'll give you
Here we
the
go.
link I'm looking at.
Am I not?
Um,
Or are you
Ready.
sharing now?
Wait, just
No.
share your screen.
oh, I was going to give it to everyone. Share. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
you see this right here, NASA.gov. That's where you would go to find pictures from NASA, because that's where NASA posts NASA pictures.
Yeah.
So we'll go through here and see if we can find that picture that said it was on Devon Island. Because I'm not seeing it. I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure it's got to be here somewhere. I mean, a flat earther
Yeah.
said that it was from NASA, so it has to be from NASA, right? They didn't. They didn't show where they got it, so it has to be.
Right. And
There's no that flat earther could not have
Oh.
lied to us by taking a picture from Devon Island and changing the color a little bit and then saying that it was
drawing a
NASA picture.
NASA base
That
with a
could
NASA
never
rover.
happen. It
You
has to
threw a
be
fake
from
NASA
NASA.
base?
So it's got to be in this gallery.
Oh, it's gallery.
Oh. Wait.
I mean, there are probably thousands upon thousands of pictures here, so we're going to be scrolling for a long time.
So
I
they
have a pretty
didn't
good
film
computer.
stuff
I'm
in
sure
in
it can
Canada
handle.
because that's what they
Oh,
came
yeah,
out
we
with,
kind
right?
of
They said, oh look, we staged it there, we practiced there. It wasn't really the footage we showed you. It was just
I
we
mean,
wanted it to be seen there.
like I said, if you're going to send billions and billions of dollars of equipment somewhere, would you not want to maybe test it before you send it somewhere to make sure it works? And
Maybe
wouldn't you
it-
maybe want to test it somewhere that's kind of like where you're sending it?
Oh, I get it.
No,
Makes sense.
NASA wouldn't. The only place they would test Mars equipment is in fucking Ohio, right?
What's in
Because
Ohio?
Ohio is just, people from Ohio are probably from Mars, but Ohio is just like Mars. So that's probably what they're going to do. They're just going to drive it around a little warehouse. No, they're going to fucking find somewhere on Earth that's a lot like Mars and test their shit before they pack it up
You're right. Mars is real.
on a rocket that costs billions
totally
of
had a
dollars.
drone, but I can't get Wi-Fi taking a shit. I'm totally with you.
What
Nixon
does that
called the
have
moon
to
with a
do?
landline.
What does that have to do with the price of fish?
I don't know, dude. I'm just fucking with you. I don't want to argue NASA. NASA's the biggest. We can't do 14 hours debating Craig and the Big Tune, and no one ever brought up NASA. No one ever brought up space. Right?
I mean, you
It's
just
amazing.
said that picture's from NASA. I'm trying to find it.
How'd you mention Mars to get off track? What were you looking for when you mentioned Mars that made me say dumb shit about fake NASA?
You were asking me about a spherical dynamo or something, and
Yeah, a bipolar sphere. That's right. And you mentioned Mars.
I said that Mars may not be one, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong
Why
about
do you
that.
think Mars
I
has
know
a
the
South
moon
Pole?
isn't one, but I
That's
think
true.
Mars may not be one as well.
Why would any of
Because
your fake planets not have a South Pole, dude? If Earth, I'm just trying to figure my head around this one.
I mean, out of the 8 in our solar system, 7
Wandering
do.
stars. So you're
Out
saying
of the
that,
8
like, there's
planets
no
in our solar
activity?
system, 7 of those planets have a south pole. So, and
Hey,
possibly an 8th.
Why would all
I'm
of
not
them not?
100% sure about Mars.
In this fake fantasy cartoon world, why does one wandering star different than the other ones? Is it because it's dead? You don't think like
See,
volcanic activity?
again, you're starting with a conclusion that it's a fake fantasy world, and you're
All right.
trying to fit everything you see around that.
No, I'm
You're
just
not
making fun of
starting
NASA and
from
planets.
you're not starting from questioning what is right and what is wrong. You're starting with your conclusion
Bipolar
and
spheres
working
don't
backwards.
exist, and you're telling me that they do because of planets, and you can't name one in nature because they
You-
don't exist.
I just named 7 at least.
You named 7 of the same example, but
No,
I said in
there's
nature,
7
not in
different
NASA
planets.
fantasy cartoon world, dude.
Plus
about,
the
like,
sun.
an
I
apple?
mean,
Does an apple
I mean
have
the
a
sun.
pole?
The sun has poles as well.
I'm
So
sorry, dude.
plus, I know at least several of Jupiter's moons are planet-like. They have atmospheres, so I'm sure they
Does
have
one of them
poles.
not have a south pole too?
Does what?
Does one of them moons not have a south pole too? Why would not every
I mean,
celestial sphere have both
I'm
north and south
sure.
pole?
Do you know what causes poles?
Why would the south
Magnetic
poles
poles? Do you know what causes
in your
magnetic
fantasy
poles?
world? You're super hot lead. The cold
No,
molten
not in a
core.
fantasy world. Do you know what causes magnetic poles?
What temperature
Uh,
does
uh,
molten
uh,
lead stop reflecting being magnetized, man? When is the magnetism power lost due to the heat?
That's
What
not an
temperature is
answer.
that?
That's not an answer. That's a question.
Is it
I
hotter
asked
than
you a
molten
question.
lava?
Sure. Now, what causes magnetic poles?
Your molten core.
What about the molten core?
Let's see. The magnetic molten concentrated, what is it? Iron molted down to lead, past the threshold for melting that still somehow produces magnetism. That's what produces your south pole.
No.
Oh,
So in all this time, that's what you thought caused it? You didn't bother actually looking it up and finding out what does cause it?
enlighten me, please.
Convection currents.
Of what?
I've already said the answer at least half a
The
dozen
molten-
times. The convection currents cause a dynamo.
Oh, you did say that. My bad.
That's literally what causes our magnetic field around our planet is the fact that our core is molten and it causes convection currents and produces a dynamo effect inside. And this is also
10,800
something.
degrees.
This is also something that you can test on your own.
It is. Here you go. Here's your.
Oh, that one kind of is. That one it? Is that
Here's
the
your-
is that the picture from Mars that flat earther said?
Dude, Mars is totally real. You definitely got me. I concede. I don't want to talk about fake NASA anymore. It was way less interesting than what we were doing before, to be honest.
I mean, if you're going to show shit that's complete bullshit,
I just want
I'm
you
going to call you out on it.
You're right. Mars is real. It's
So-
definitely not in
so-
Canada.
It's not that hard to do. I mean,
So
considering you have no fucking clue where that image came from,
I know that it's all fake.
we can deduce that something's probably wrong.
10,800
image.
degrees for a molten convection. Is that what you think does? The molten core at 10,800 degrees Fahrenheit has convection that produces the magnetic South Pole. That's
Sure.
absurd.
Yeah. Okay, so disprove it.
Show me a bipolar sphere. Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
No, that's not what you
let's
said.
Go back to the drone.
You said something about 10,000 degrees can't produce convection currents that cause a dynamo effect. So prove it. Show me.
How the hell could we prove it either way?
You're the one that said it, not me.
You're the one that believes it.
You said that
You think this
it
is
doesn't because of a big number. So now prove it. Now show me evidence
Molten
that a
metal
big number
loses
somehow
its magnetic
dis-
property when superheated past the ability to maintain the magnetic. What do you call it? Magnetism decays when the molten metal is hot enough to melt to 10,000 degrees. That's what I know.
Sure, and that's not what causes the magnetic field on Earth. If you had actually looked into this, maybe you would understand that. But
I'm still
you
waiting for a
don't.
bipolar
You heard a
sphere.
flat earther say that the core is too hot for metal to be magnets in the core. Therefore, it can't be a magnet. But you didn't actually bother looking up why the fuck it is a magnet.
There is no South Pole. That's absurd. Antarctica is a circle around the Antarctic basin that keeps all the water in.
Okay,
The shit that
prove
you're talking
there's not
about
a
is
South Pole.
nuts. Prove there's not.
Yeah, you just claimed that there's not a South Pole,
Mm-hmm.
either geographically or magnetically. Either one.
That compass that you love,
I
that you were
will
talking about,
leave that
take that to
ambiguous for
Antarctica.
you to decide which one you want to prove doesn't exist, either geographic or magnetic. But show us evidence that there is no either geographic or magnetic South Pole.
We'll take that compass. We'll go past the equator. We'll watch how it doesn't navigate to north. Once you pass, like if you go past the equator, it doesn't point south, right? It still points north. Why would that be?
Because that's how magnetic fields work.
When would it point to the South Pole then? At
I
what
mean,
point
do you,
latitude
do
does
you
it
know
cross?
do you know how magnetic fields work?
When would the compass point to the South Pole, if ever?
All the time. It points both north and south. That's why it has
100%
two
false.
needles on it.
It never points to the South Pole.
Because the
man.
compass itself is a magnet. And magnets have two poles. They have a north pole and a south pole.
They do.
And so that magnet, the south pole of that magnet points to the north pole of our globe, which technically is the south pole. So I'm not going to get into how magnetic dynamos work. It's kind of crazy, and I don't know enough about it to fully explain it. But we'll just call the North Pole for the time being. So when you have two magnets and you touch it, you hold them close together, the South Pole and the North Pole are going to attract each other. This is how a compass works.
Right. But if you pass, so would it not point to the closest pole to you if you're only your northern needle points to the northern pole, and your southern needle should point to the southern pole, right?
No, it's going to follow the magnetic field. So
Which is not the southern pole.
Here's what you can do. Take the compass that I told you to get and go out and stare at it in your yard. Also, when you order that from Amazon, also order a bar magnet.
And a sextant and a astral lobe.
No, you don't.
Well,
you really don't
do
need
balls deep. You might as well do it.
Order a bar magnet, okay?
Uh-huh.
Compass and a bar magnet. Now, lay the bar magnet on your table and just run the compass in a circle around it and kind of, move it in and out and around. And watch what the needles of the compass does as you move it around that bar magnet. That's going to draw out the magnetic field around that magnet. Of course, if you're just moving it around on a table, it's only going to be in 2 dimensions, but you can imagine it as 3 dimensions, or you can just hold the bar magnet up in front of your face and do it in 3 dimensions. But that's going to draw the magnetic field for you. Yeah, that. So literally all a compass is doing when you hold it in your hand is following those lines of the magnetic field.
But this isn't what you think it is. I was looking here. Let's be fair. I was looking over here. This kind of...
And I'm looking at something that looks like a magnetic field.
That is a... let's see. That's Cracker's representation of our bipolar sphere, with the polar being our Polaris and the southern pole being a refraction of Polaris.
I mean, I don't really care what it is. At the base level, that is a representation of a magnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the magnetic field is going to look like.
I had a better one for you. It was exactly what you wanted. It was this, but I can't. Oh, it's a different fucking window, isn't it? I can't share both my screen and the thing. Share, motherfucker. Share, go. Okay, cool.
Holy shit, it's midnight.
Yeah.
We've really been talking 2.5 hours. Let's pause for just a minute. I just want to go over to chat and say hey to everyone. Kingies, how you doing? Martin H, hadn't seen you guys in a while.
Little Wolf. You're my buddy.
Stellariumies, Helio Wave. Who else we got? TT guy, how you doing?
Helio Wave is still here. He stuck it out for 3 hours. Holy shit, buddy! Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm so
Helio,
sorry.
that's your friend. Hopefully, he's a fan of mine now.
Helio Wave is his channel is based on your stuff, 100%, dude.
Nice. Yeah, we're here pretty much every Saturday, unless I have a migraine. Happened twice while we were trying to do this damn debate. So that's 2 of the 3 reasons it didn't happen several weeks ago.
And one of them was mine.
Garrises. Who else we got? Anti-disformation.
And then that's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Yeah, I'm scrolling for a while. That's
I tried to troll him, dude. King Crew got me back. You guys are funny.
Yeah. Oh, Charlie Welch. What's up, Charlie? Yeah. All good people in chat. So yeah,
he's definitely on their team.
We should probably stop because it is midnight.
If
We've
you
been
need
talking for
someone to fill in
hours.
again, I'll be happy to come.
This was a lot of
Fun.
I had a lot of fun. You're way smarter than I thought you were. Well, I mean, I didn't know how smart you were, but your gyroscope knowledge floored me, dude. Hats off.
Well,
props, man.
See, here's the thing about me.
Right.
I'll find something that interests me, and then that's literally all I will fucking pay attention to.
100%. Like, wow, for me, you know what I mean?
For a while. And that just so happened to be gyroscopes here recently.
Well, you wanted to be a pilot, so it was a personal thing. You love it, dude. I can tell.
And part of it is, let me share my screen again. Hang on. I gotta find the damn tab. Share.
What am I doing? I don't know how to use YouTube.
So back over here on my presentation. Part of it is
that was a good presentation too, man.
Because when I saw this picture, I was like, what the fuck do those do?
Right? Or what is any one of those things?
I mean, my dad sat in that seat flying faster than the speed of sound. So my dad knew what that shit was. So I need to figure out what the fuck it does.
Why did you think
Because
that before you were debating it?
do what?
Why would you want to know exactly what that instrument does if you weren't going to be a pilot and you weren't going to be debating it, just for your own knowledge, or because your dad knew? Oh.
Just for my own, because I like military aircraft. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I love watching videos of them flying. I love going to air shows.
You're gonna like Top Gun #2. F-14 takes a role. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I've kind of seen a couple of
Oh, have you?
spoilers.
Okay.
and yeah, but yeah, I wanted to know what they do, and I know what most of this stuff does now. Like I know that this is a Mach scroll, so this actually shows your Mach speed right here.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, my cursor is a little small. The thing next to the gyro compass to the left, I believe, is Mach, and the other one's something else.
Altimeter? That's the only one I know.
Yeah. One
For the flirt, dude. Nailed it.
Yeah, maybe one's altimeter, and the others. I know one of them is Mach because I listened to an actual F-105 pilot. My dad wasn't a pilot, but he got to fly one. But I listened to an actual pilot do a walk around of an F-105, and he was talking about how when pilots started training for the F-105, they had this Mach meter like this, and pretty much every plane other than this had a round Mach meter, like a speedometer type thing. And he said after pilots got used to this type of Mach meter, they hated the other one. Now here's the altimeter. It's still around altimeter. But yeah, I just wanted to know like what these do, why they're
Why do you
there.
need 7 gauges, right? Why in the right do you need 3?
Yeah. Why do I need a gyro compass? Why do I need an artificial horizon? Why do I need an altimeter? Why do I need a drift angle? Why do I need angle of attack meter? Why do I need this? Why do I need that? I mean, I can understand why you need oil pressure and shit like that because you're sitting on this big ass fucking turbojet.
Let me ask you this, dude. What did you think someone could refute based on your presentation on the absolute inner workings of a gyroscope? What possible refutation were you expecting?
What they could do is show me a gyroscope without pendulous vanes or without an erecting mechanism, something like that, without Schuler tuning, not processing when it's spun up to speed for an hour, however long.
Come on, you win that every time, man. Which flat earther do you know would be able to refute that off the cuff?
I mean, who was that flat earther that Bob Nodal paid to build a mechanical gyroscope? Stephen
I thought
P.
someone donated 20 grand to him. No.
No. This was a different thing. After the ring laser gyroscope blew up in Bob's face, he was like, "Oh, well, then we should get a mechanical gyroscope." So FE Corp paid Stephen P. to build a mechanical gyroscope. And guess what happened when he spun it up to speed?
It measured the celestial heavens rotating at 15 degrees per hour.
Oh, it rotated to Earth.
How? No.
Confused.
How would a mechanical instrument measure celestial rotation?
Yeah.
How would it?
Explain that to me. How a piece of metal spinning can measure something moving that it isn't attached to or it can't see or anything. Explain that to me.
Because it was inside a building. Inside a room.
Yeah, I mean, it was in his house.
Yeah.
Where did he say he was going to put it in there? What's it? The zero Gauss chamber, right? That was his next step. Bismuth, a bismuth chamber.
Yeah,
Is that how they
he
would
wanted
measure
to
it?
encase it in bismuth and all this other stuff. But see, that's the thing. And remember this video that I showed you
Right.
right here? Like the only thing that it's sensing is whether that laser beam comes together at the same time or not the same time. That's literally the only thing a ring laser gyro can measure. That's it.
So digital ring laser versus what was the other one?
Oh, and by the way,
A mechanical
Okay.
gyroscope.
by the way, after he
Yeah.
made the mechanical gyroscope, showed Earth rotating if it's not the pitching or drift rather. They sued to have that video
Yeah.
taken down.
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
because but also to watch his version of it, they raised the elevation and remeasured it, and apparently it was no. But the part I don't understand about that is before they went all this,
I'll let you guys look at my ex-wife
he confirmed
again.
that every other gyroscope already measured the 15-degree drift. And then, do you expect the 3-ring laser to measure? Yes, he said, I expect the same result. And then he got a result, and he went, "No, I don't understand." What do you mean? It's exactly what you guys said that you would expect. Why is this a shock?
Yeah, I mean, literally, if every gyroscope
100%,
that works,
right?
if every gyroscope that works
Measured that
does
drift.
the exact same thing,
Right.
then there's probably a reason why.
Right. That's how fast the heavens rotates around the flat Earth, man.
So, yeah,
He's like, "Oh, fuck,
so,
I'm done."
so how does the gyroscope measure that? How does
No
a
idea,
gyroscope measure the heavens doing anything?
Why? So, let's see.
How does something that's just pieces of metal measure something far away like that?
Well, if nothing is rotating apparent to the device, then the only thing that it can notice would be the celestial procession.
How does it notice
I have no idea, dude. That's a good fucking question.
Well, we could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on for hours about this.
That was just my question when I was looking through this. Why wouldn't they just say it was this?
Yeah, let me just say this real quick. All you have to do to not be a flat earther is sit there and really think about this shit.
Dude, that's 100% not correct.
just sit there and be like, okay,
dude.
So it must hang on. Let me finish this thought. It must, like you said, it must be measuring the celestial rotation. So then, how? Figure out how. If you can't figure out how this little round piece of brass in an airplane is measuring celestial rotation, then it probably isn't measuring celestial rotation. It's probably doing something else.
What do they call it?
So then you can try to figure out what it is doing.
Fair enough, dude. My gyroscope knowledge, if I had that background, I probably would have been able to answer your question better, but nailed me, dude. Nailed me.
You need to have,
look for flat Earth.
You need to have more of an open mind, but not so open.
I have an open mind, dude. I convinced myself to do 180 perspective from where I grew up, right? That's an open mind. I've revisited every belief I've had to have the opposite and then debate from the opposite.
That's not
insane,
that's not an open mind. That's
not an open mind at all.
That's the opposite of an open mind. That's an opposite of an open mind.
Having an open mind is one thing, but then coming to the conclusion that because someone important says something, then the opposite must be true, and then working backwards from there, that's just bullshit.
Try this, dude. Try to look for flat Earth stuff that's not on YouTube. Look on BitChin or Odyssey or anywhere else and see if you don't get some different fucking results. Because I've
looked in a lot of places.
I don't think
and there has never been anything that even just a random dumbass on the internet can't debunk very easily.
The CVID word, right? If you look up Google and DuckDuckGo results, those are very
good. You should probably back the fuck away from that because I had family members die from it, and you will get banned from the channel if you keep talking about it.
Platform are different, is all I'm saying. So BitChin has different results than YouTube.
Yeah,
Odyssey
I don't really give a shit because
YouTube.
I lost several family members from that. So I fucking know that it's real.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
say
we're
it
not
wasn't real.
saying
though.
anything else
I
about it.
didn't
Yeah,
say
let's
that.
not-
I just
let's
said
not
the
go into
results are different.
Let's
It could be
not
any
go into
topic.
that. Let's not go into that. No. No.
All right,
Touching
fair
that.
enough,
Not
man.
touching that topic. Period.
You can't trigger me very easily, but
I didn't mean
that
to trigger
will
you, dude.
fucking
I
trigger
didn't.
me.
I just said the results on DuckDuckGo are different from Google.
Yeah, and they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Who is?
Yeah.
Every other search engine
Apparently,
but
the
Google?
people on DuckDuckGo.
They just give unbiased results. Anyway, sidetracked, dude.
Let's call it a night,
no,
and
they're pretty biased.
We can continue this. We can continue this debate.
Sorry,
another
guys.
night, and
Honestly, it's been fun.
Yeah.
I really had a
Yeah.
good time. You sharpened your debating teeth. Now you can go for like Nathan Oakley. What do you think?
oh god,
No, fuck him.
Fuck
him.
Like
I
I
agree.
said earlier, he can eat a bag of dicks and choke on them and die for all I care.
Honestly, I got time out in Discord, and within 3 minutes, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can go on McToon's channel, and everyone treats me way better. Fuck off.
Imagine that.
Mhm.
Imagine people that are actually smart being nice people.
Yeah.
I think the people in McToon's chat are smart, dude. I think they're horribly misguided.
They're a hell
I
of a
like
lot
them.
smarter than
I like
me.
Naked, but not.
That's
monkey.
why. That's why it took me this long to debate someone, because I'm a dumbass, and there's people a lot
Man,
smarter than me that can
confidence,
debate a lot
man.
better than me.
Maybe, but you got a pretty good teeth, and you're pretty good at it. Be confident. You know, you'll be nailing it. You don't think that anyone can do it better. Just take the step. Honestly.
So I'm gonna
Right.
go ahead and load the outro. So
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Holding a hand that ain't my girl's. I did it again.
Oh, shit.
Did it again. Yeah. In a battle between my head
Stop.
and my head. You know, I know. You always think you would win. Think you would win. But you won't. No, you
No.
won't.
You guys know who Cracker is?
Always think you would win, think you would win, but you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. Always think you would win, think you would win, but you won't. Leaving the club early, checking into a Motel 6, with a chick. What am I doing? I got thoughts in my head like damn, I'm fucking up again, not again. So I leave, so I leave, so I leave. Not again, so I leave. But as I leave, I see familiar faces that kind of look just like my girl. But she's with a friend, with a friend. What friend? Yeah. I get closer and closer, and I realize that's my baby with some dude. What is she doing with him at a Motel 6?